the Anunnaki side of it. Uh, Plausible, but then again, at this point, what isn't?
I think it shows that, that something specially intervened in evolution. Like, that it was occurring and then something came down, like Anunnaki, and like they tampered with evolution, if
Oh,
that makes sense.
here's a crazy thought I've been having lately. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it on here or not before. But imagine if God actually tends to many terrariums, but there is time dilation. So while he's going between each one of the terrariums he's got going, for him it's like, a few minutes at each one. For us, it's like over 1,000 years till he comes back to check on this particular terrarium.
Well, yeah, if you look down at like how like certain microbes and things multiply in their lifespans, you think about that in perspective to like
Yeah,
scalable time
exactly. Like,
for us.
I, yeah,
Who
but
knows?
I
Yeah,
mean,
it could be
even
something like
yeah,
that.
but I mean, even like an ant farm or some shit like that. You know, say you've got an ant farm. Have you named every single ant, or do you just check on the ant farm every so often to make sure it's got like the right whatever it
Yeah, but
needs?
what's really weird is there's like some sort of a scaffolding under like the life that occurs at least on Earth. I mean, we don't know about life on other planets just yet,
Yeah,
but
but
it appears to follow a pattern
to
that
have an
is,
ant, like, to have an ant farm, you have to first have ants that you put in it.
yeah, of course.
Right. So yeah,
But I mean, the ant,
yeah, I do believe in a creator. I just like questioning everything because for a long time I didn't. I didn't actually even start believing in a creator till I was 17. Yeah, I
I
grew
was
up with
older
my
than that. I was
I grew
28.
up with my mum being Catholic, no, no, my mum being Catholic and trying to push religion down my throat, trying to take me to church and shit. And my dad was atheist, and he was an ambulance officer. So I kind of had more respect for him and his job and what he was saying. So I leant more towards being an atheist because my dad was. I didn't even believe there was a creator till I was 17, and I didn't come to my beliefs till I was 19. And yes, they are just mine. They are bits and pieces from every religion. There are correlations from shit all over the place. Some of them I didn't even know till afterwards. They all came to me on one crazy ass acid trip when I was 19. And I've held on to those beliefs ever since. And they're pretty much just natural law type shit. I mean, there is a bit more to it, but yeah, they're pretty much just natural law. I mean, the first thing is like morality and personal responsibility,
Yeah.
accountability.
I'm looking over this guy's stuff you mentioned, and I think he's arguing more that humans were genetically engineered by the Anunnaki. Arguments like that I think are pretty strong, but he's not arguing for special creation. He's arguing for special intervention.
It was actually Dr. Dickhead who reminded me of it, but yeah, I've seen that a few times.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that were true, though. That something came down and like got involved in evolution and like I don't know, manufactured us. I don't know, like something like that, or maybe it's not aliens. Maybe some kind of cause from God. Maybe God can like I don't know, use
Oh,
his spirit to
yeah,
alter
but
the
see,
trajectory of
as I
things.
was saying, if there's time dilation
Yeah, time dilation.
and he's like way up there, and say he does have several other realms that he checks on each day,
Yeah,
it could mean in his time is like an hour by the time he gets back to us, or a day by the time goes to one. every day. That's in his time. That could be 1,000 years for us. He might only look at what's going on once every 1,000 years and go, ah, shit, I gotta fix that.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, you know. I mean, maybe that's close to vendetta or something like that. You know, vendetta. You know, probably more like a conception of God that's closer to vendetta or something. Because in
No,
vendetta, God is
it's not
connected
even,
to the
no, it's not even that.
universal mind.
It's like,
Universal
just,
mind.
no, it's just the fact of like the time separation. Like if a day to him is 1,000 days to us, but we expect him to be here all the time. See, that's like a mayfly that lives for a day, expecting a human to give a fuck.
But let me ask you this: do you think the creator is separate from the what he creates, or you think there's a non-dual relationship there, like they're complementary
I believe
and
that there is
separate
a spiritual connection
in
with the
spiritual sense?
creator, but he's kind of, as I said, he kind of only checks in on his larger creation. Like, as I said, it could be every 1,000 years, it could be every year, it could be every 10 years, I don't know. But I don't believe he's sitting here adjusting things on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, you know. Well, I respect your beliefs. I don't really know, like, you know,
Yeah, I don't. None of us really know.
yeah.
I mean,
Nope,
that's the thing.
not
Think
with
something
absolute.
like you know, Brahman or like you know, Dharmakaya, like some absolute, you know, like that's beyond definition and was, you know, like it's like hard to describe, but it's like you know, always, you know, connected to our the spirits of every living being, sentient being, and this is like difficult things to talk about, but I do believe there's something like God or like Dharmakaya or something like really hard to tell. Yeah, but I do have doubts that he gave commandments to mankind. That's the thing I have issues with. You see, I mean, like, how do I know what are the commandments of God? You know, like, how do I know? You see what I'm
The thing
saying?
is, yeah, the thing is, every single thing you know currently is written by the hand of man.
Yes, I agree.
Man deceives.
I agree.
Therefore, how can you trust anything just because it's written down?
I agree with you about that. You know, and you know what made me realize that was knowing the Mars rover footage was fake. You know, it's the same as Devon Island, and also knowing the 2019 was a hoax. You know, it was a big hoax. You know, we both know that. I'm not gonna say what it is. You know, I know. You know, and then it made me go down a rabbit hole, and I started doubting everything. There was a time I believed in flat Earth. You know, I watched a lot of ODD TV, but now I don't know. You know, because you know they lie so much in the past. I don't know,
I,
10 years. You know, or
I,
maybe even more
my,
than that.
do you want to know my thoughts on it?
Sure.
Yeah,
About what? About what?
the
Okay.
flat Earth thing.
No, I mean I don't want to touch on that. I was just saying I
Ah,
went through I went through a period where I was doubting everything because I knew in the past 10 years they were lying so much, like so much, and it was so obvious how much they were lying. And so I started doubting everything, you know. And it's very hard to tell. You know, I have my biases, I have certain beliefs I believe, but I don't like cling onto them that hard. But I do have certain things I have more conviction about, but I don't try to be dogmatic or impose any belief on anyone, you know what I mean? Like I'm always like open to courteous discussions, stuff like that. I mean, you know, but I do like distrust the elites or like the consensus, you know what I mean? Because they've lied so much in the past 10, 15 years. Like it's over the top how much they've lied. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty obvious too. I don't know how anyone can believe those Mars footage. You know, they looks like fucking Devon Island. You know what I mean? Yeah,
hey, hey, but
like
see, here's what they're doing. So you've heard about this three-eye atlas thing, right?
the
You know,
what?
this massive. the 3I Atlas, the asteroid or spaceship.
I didn't know. I don't know about that. No, I don't know that.
What? They've been
Yeah.
talking about it for months now. Come on. Right. So anyway, apparently it veered off in a direction it
Oh yeah, yeah,
shouldn't.
that. Yeah, the comments. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. That's not a comet. And where did you get the information from?
Oh, I just looked. I
Oh
looked
yeah,
it
no,
up on Wikipedia.
it comes from NASA.
Oh, I see.
Why
Yeah.
would you believe
Okay.
this? Of all the things NASA has said, now they're saying there's a giant spaceship coming.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, it turned. It's not coming here now. It was heading here, but it veered off. They're going to spend all of next year, like so many UFO sightings, probably even some alien exposure shit, before in 2027 they pull their fake alien invasion shit. Because that will then unite the world under one world government, because they have to work together to fight the alien invaders. How else do you think they're really going to achieve their goal by 2030?
No, I agree with you. You know, I think NASA is full of shit. You know, like
Yeah, not a
yeah,
space agency.
yeah. You
That's what
know,
NASA stands for, not a
but
space agency.
let me
NA.
say this though. You know, like you know, I agree with you and stuff. You know, but you know, I'm not that smart. Like I am kind of above average, I think. But you know, there are people way smarter than me. You know, I don't know, like, you know, astronomy is not really something I care about that much, but I don't trust NASA. Like, I lean towards not trusting them, you know, like, definitely, because I know that,
Astronomy still works on a flat Earth on the firmament. See, that shit doesn't change. How come the constellations have been the same for as long as it's supposedly been recorded history?
you know, let me tell you this, man. My own vision.
I mean, dude, if we're supposed to be hurtling through space,
What's going on?
someone
Yo,
dropped something, I think. Yeah, if we're supposed to be hurtling
I
through
am
space
Charles
at
Derpwin.
66.6 million miles an hour, while also spiraling around the sun, do you not think the constellations may have changed? How could they be the same as they were
Have you guys heard?
thousands and thousands of years ago
Have you
if
guys
we're
heard the
hurtling
theory
through
of
space at
evolution?
that speed?
Uh,
Charles Darwin actually refuted his own claim of evolution on his deathbed, by the way.
No, no, no. I'm Charles Derpwin. Okay.
no,
Yeah.
I don't agree with Darwin. I'm a
No,
Thank
no,
you
Lamarckian.
for
no,
reminding
hey,
me. I was like Anderp Wilson or Weinson.
no, no,
Anderp Weisen.
right,
I'm
Weinson.
the
seriously,
I'm the
Charles
founder of
Darwin,
evolution. Okay.
Charles
No, he
Darwin
was
actually
wrong. I don't
It's a
think he
recanted.
fluke.
was the founder. Empiricals was.
Right,
Empirically.
Charles Darwin actually
Empirically.
recanted his theory of evolution on his deathbed.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I'm Charles Derpwin. I would never recant because I only win. Derp.
No,
You're,
you guys have to
you're a
know that.
fluke. A
You
fluke.
have to know that by being a Lamarckian, I'm already going against consensus. You know that, like
Oh,
I'm
no,
a
no, it's all
Lamarckian.
funny. Don't ban the troll this time.
Because like let me explain. You can be a
He's not a
Lamarckian, believe in
troll.
God, but not Darwinian. Darwinian, you cannot really believe in God. But I'm not a Darwinian.
Yeah,
I'm
me
a
neither. I'm a
Lamarckian.
Derpwinian.
No, I'm a Lamarckian.
So,
I'm
what
a
do you
Lamarckian.
believe
You
in,
get that?
Dirkwinian?
Yeah, you
He's
can
a
look up
troll
Lamarck.
bridge
What do I
operator.
believe?
Hey, it's all right.
Lamarck.
What do you believe? What do
Okay,
you
I'll
believe
tell
in,
I'll tell you what I
Dirkwinian?
believe. All right. So in the
Right,
beginning, there was nothing, right?
right.
And the nothing exploded into stuff. All right.
Yeah,
The
Lamarck.
Right.
stuff was swimming around, right, in nothing, and it started to collect into pools, what we call the primordial goop or soup, whatever you like on your plate.
Soup,
Okay.
soup.
So, so we got the primordial soup made out of a bunch of exploded nothing. All right. And let's say it formed a couple of rocks. Okay. Now the rocks, they were having a really hard time surviving. All right,
I'm
because they
grabbing a beer. I know where he's going with this.
because the rocks they needed sunlight and they needed energy, but they couldn't move. So there was one rock that was actually a really smart rock. It grew legs, but it was underwater, so it was like a tadpole rock. You know what I'm saying? Someone could call it a rock lobster. All right. So the first rock evolved into the rock lobster. Right. Now the rock lobster, it was having a hard time getting food. You know what I mean? That was out on the land. It had to survive on algae and little tiny shrimp. We don't know where the shrimp came from because I didn't. The first rock evolved into a rock lobster. Maybe it was like some sand or something, but that'd be rocks too. Anyway, we're just gonna skip over that. So the rock lobster, it crawls onto land, right? And it started walking around, and there wasn't really anything else for it to, procreate with, because it was the only evolved rock lobster. But let's just pretend there was an imaginary squirrel, right? So now the rock lobster used its claws to grab the squirrel, and it forced itself upon it, creating the first squirrel frog rock lobster. All right, and it was
No,
amphibious.
this is not
Now,
how this is not how it works, man.
listen, this
First
is
of all,
my theory, okay? I'm gonna tell it how it is. All right.
Yeah,
Is this
honestly,
Aesop's
please
Rock
let him
Fables?
finish. Dude, please let him finish. This is funny as
So,
fuck.
I mean, all right. So now the rock lobster, squirrel frog, right? It was amphibious, but since it was spending lots of time on land, baking in the sun, drinking mojitos, right? It lost its gills, right? And it was just like, we don't need gills no more. We got lungs. We don't know where we got them from, but we got them. All right. So
but
now
let me
this,
tell you this.
just listen,
Let
just
me tell you
listen.
this.
Damn,
The neuroscience doesn't make sense
Oh, come
because
on, he's
evolution
not talking.
doesn't make sense.
it doesn't have to.
Most of our research
It's
Just
the
listen to
theory
the
of.
and visual
story.
perception
Hey,
comes from
Avian,
occipital
Avian,
lobe, the back
stop.
of the lobe.
Dude,
Uh,
Avian,
all right.
stop. It's all a joke.
So
Fucking
the,
just
so the
go
rock
along.
lobster squirrel frog, right? It was roaming around on the land, you know what I mean? And it grew thicker fur, right? And it said, you know what? I don't really want to drink mojitos anymore. I'm pretty bored of this shit. And I'm just going to go ahead and climb up this tree. But I got these claws. They're not very good for climbing trees, they're real bad at it. So I'm just going to drop these claws and I'm going to grow fingers out of my nubs, right? So my offspring, actually, the ones that grew nubs, I died. All right. So, but the offspring grew nubs, and they started crawling on the trees. They called those tree monkeys ASAP Rocky. All right. So that was ASAP Rocky. He was the first of the primate rock lobster squirrel frogs. Okay. Then after many years of swinging around trees, from the breeze swinging past my armpits, the hair started to fall off my chest. All right, and I started to become naked. But because I had a diet that was high in vitamin C, right? Because I was able to reach the high fruits, I gained intelligence. You know what I'm saying? And then I became a human, and that's how I'm here to tell you the story today. All right.
Nah,
Yeah,
who
this is
fucking taught you how to speak? That's the only
I
no.
issue
knew it
I
was
have with
Aesop
this whole
Rock
story is
Fables.
who taught you how to speak
I
and
was taught
why?
I was taught how to speak in Harvard University.
Well, let me tell you something
Hey,
interesting.
dude, honestly, that was funny as fuck. Well done. Everyone should actually give him a round of applause for that. That
Let
was
me tell you
actually
something interesting. Okay,
Woohoo!
let me
Yay!
tell you
Charles
something interesting.
Durplin.
Uh,
no,
you know, the,
seriously, it was actually entertaining. I mean, come on, credit where credit's due. It was
it's
dumb
not
as
very
fuck, but it
interesting.
was still funny.
No,
What it do? What it do?
Now, in the future, okay, I can predict the future because I'm
Oh
evolved.
no,
Okay,
he's already got another one ready.
so in the future
well,
now,
it's different,
right?
that's for
The
sure.
humans are gonna evolve into giant half chicken, half squirrel, where
No,
we
they're
lay
gonna become soy boy Bugman.
That's
They're
instead
gonna
of
stupid.
become
laying eggs, we're gonna lay
androgynous.
acorns. Okay,
No,
Is
that's
that a
not how it
squirrel?
works.
well, let me tell
Is
you
that a
how it works.
squirrel or a chickle?
Listen, it's a squirrel chicken.
Yeah, a
Right.
squirrel or a chickle.
We're gonna lay acorns, right?
Come
And the
on, a
acorns are
straight
gonna
fucking
actually
answer.
contain
Hey,
monkey
pick one.
fetuses.
Hey, pick one. A
It goes
squirrel or a
backwards
chickle?
because as it was in the beginning, so it is in the end. So the monkey fetuses, right? They're
Again.
gonna eventually get sick and tired of swinging on trees. They're gonna get lazy. They're gonna start laying on the beach drinking mojitos, right? Then when they get bored of the mojitos, they're gonna get drunk as shit, fall in the ocean, and grow gills, or they're gonna drown. It's like They call it some like selective breeding or selective
It's
reasoning or
almost like they
something.
did that already with the
Um,
hippopotamuses and the whales. Oh,
we'll think of a term for that later. Anyway, so whatever monkey grows gills, it'll be transformed into some form of a squirrel frog, right? Because it'll
Yeah,
lose
but
some
then
of
you
its,
gotta fucking
become
fight with
amphibious
sharks
again.
but then you gotta fight with sharks all the time.
No, sharks haven't evolved yet. So anyway,
I thought you were
once
saying in the future.
when we start, well, in the future we're going backwards because they're gonna start flopping around on the beach because they're all drunk and whatnot from the
Oh,
mojitos,
shit.
right?
What's that movie? Altered Consciousness.
And then essentially we're gonna devolve into a rock lobster, and then we're just gonna get so lazy we're just gonna lay on the bottom of the ocean and return to our final form, which is a rock,
No,
which will melt
no.
down into
Okay,
primordial
you're
soup,
going on too long,
and then
and
we're
it's not
back to
not
nothing.
funny.
no,
It's
he's
not too
not.
long. We're back to nothing. And then it starts
Hey,
over because it was nothing. It has to become
That's
something.
It's
that's
not
hey,
that's
funny,
Chuck,
see,
like
that,
it's not
you
smart
go,
or funny,
you go first,
like
Tifa.
you
doesn't
just
make
don't like
sense.
him,
With all
Avian.
the
It's
regret and
okay.
the unfulfilled life of the rock lobster, that nothing, it has pent up aggression, which is going to
I,
cause the
And
Big
it
Bang.
says,
Okay?
just,
Team
No,
Root
I'll tell you
Rescue.
what people are becoming like. They're becoming like soy boys and androgynous, because all the shit they put in the water, this is making their
yeah,
endocrine
dude,
system
he
messed
was
up.
just being, he was just being funny. None of
That was
it was
actually me. I was trying to expedite the process of evolution. I started putting astrazine in the water to turn the frogs gay to try to
Yeah, that's
change the
real.
evolutionary cycle. Because if
That's
the
real.
frogs are gay, then the frog doesn't butt fuck the squirrel, you see?
Okay, Nick Land.
Fucking- that stuff is real. Like the atrazine and stuff.
I
That's
know it's
real.
real. I put it in there. I
Oh,
just told you it was.
Avian is
Yeah.
so biting at the moment. Come on,
Like,
Avian.
like
This
if
is all fucking
it's just
joke.
And
not.
And I never
This
told you about birds, but we had a son that was a squirrel frog. He was a little gay. He flapped his wings too much, and he eventually they turned into feathers, and he just flew away. We don't know what happened.
The
yeah,
squirrel
well,
frog,
Yeah,
that's
he
the
not
was
how
a
squirrel
smart
frog,
one.
evolution
He
works.
must have been the
the
smart one.
squirrel
He was
frog
doing
There are
has
spirit
lineages.
fingers.
roosters
There are
and little.
lineages.
Yeah, it was
Different
like how the
lineages as
reptile
well.
became the bird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
well,
was a
that was
squirrel
like
frog.
long ago, based on what they say. But you
I
can
mean,
let me
maybe
tell
he
you
had a
this.
little bird in him.
The
You know
more
what I mean?
cellular the organisms are, the more recent the ancestor was.
He
Like
always did walk
why do
around
we
with a
have
little
nipples?
extra hump in his
Like
step.
answer this though. Like, when you look at a wolf and you see they're like feeding their young with their nipples, the breast milk. Do you not see they have a soul that we share a common ancestor thing? You think all animals are soulless. Say that you were arguing that. You
Avian.
think all animals are
I don't
Let me
think
soulless.
let
they're
me ask you
soulless.
He
something. Let me ask you
Yeah.
completely
something.
missed
You
what he
don't
was
you don't
doing.
acknowledge the
Let
Buddha
me ask
nature
you
or the
something.
common nature shared by all
Let me
organisms.
ask you something, okay?
Yeah, what?
If wolves can feed their young with their nipples, all right, why
Yeah.
can't you?
Well, that the wolf has to be female. That's the same
All
with
right, all
Okay.
us.
right,
You have to
all
be
right.
female.
So
I'm a man.
if
I'm a
wolves
man. You know what I mean?
if wolves are
Wolf
female and they
female wolf.
produce milk,
Prove
right?
it,
Female wolf.
I
Why don't
want to
we
see it.
milk wolves?
Prove it.
Can you
You
milk a
can milk and
wolf?
drink the you
It,
can
it, it,
milk and
Well,
drink
to be
the milk
honest,
of a
mine are
wolf. You
only
Well,
can.
why
It's
don't
ornamental.
gross
we?
though.
Why don't
Well,
we do
because
it though?
hey,
because it's gross. We don't like the
stop.
taste.
Yeah,
You can do it though.
honestly,
Well,
You
come
why
can
don't
do
we
it.
on.
like it?
Hey,
Well, because
Avian,
right, we like the
Avian,
taste of goat milk or cow milk. It's a matter of taste and preference.
Avian.
Well, I mean,
Dude,
have you ever tried wolf's milk?
uh, you can drink it, but I
I mean,
wouldn't.
listen, you try to milk a wolf and let me know how it
You
goes.
go
can
milk
milk
a
a wolf.
cat.
And
You
you
can
let me
milk your
know.
own
Go
wife and
milk
drink
a
it too.
cat.
You know that you can milk your own wife and drink it too
Hey,
if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
it actually is pretty
Come
good.
on, guys. This
Yeah,
is just getting ridiculous now.
it's not
Yes,
ridiculous. It's
no, no.
shared
You just
fucking
put an
common
idiot
features.
sounding like school
Like
kids.
it's common sense.
No,
Like
stop,
why
stop.
would
You're getting
That's the thing.
peely and sounding like school kids.
I mean, look.
Stop. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's common sense. It's like obvious. But I'm telling you,
No, no,
Martians
stop.
can't accept
No,
God.
carry on.
What
Right?
about a
I
You're
know.
the
bird?
one that sounds like a
South
school
and
kid,
Bob.
Can you
Avian.
milk a bird?
Stop
No, because
it.
birds lay eggs. We don't share a common ancestor with them as close. We are
Well,
very far
humans
apart
have
from them.
eggs too,
Well, those
though.
are different kinds of eggs.
Well, so do
What's
Those are
lizards
different?
different
and
kinds of
fish
eggs.
and
Yeah,
You know,
amphibians and pretty much
yeah.
yeah.
everything that sexually reproduces has
Well,
eggs and
I'm mainly
little
focusing
tadpoles.
on
And,
mammals.
and
I'm
things have
focusing on mammals.
fingers and
I'm focusing on
eyeballs too.
mammals right now.
and
You
Yeah,
know
and
but
what
the
the
like
word
eyeballs
mammal
and
actually
means?
feet.
developed like several times
You
in
know,
Evolution, supposedly.
they got feet.
Yeah, this is like complex stuff. I'm a neo-Lamarckian, so that means all the evolutionists already hate me. You believe that? Because
What
I'm
if
a
a nipple
neo-Lamarckian.
isn't actually a thing?
You should. Well, you don't even care what I believe. You don't
What
even
if a
ask me as
nipple
a
is only a
neo-Lamarckian.
nipple because we called it a nipple?
Well, yeah, it is a
it might
nipple.
be.
Nipples are real. Like
Think
why do
about
It
you
it,
might
think
be a
that?
mountain.
right?
Who
Why
knows?
do we make baby bottles with rubber nipples on them? Maybe
To
it's just the most
protect the
efficient,
real
structure
nipples.
for liquid transfer.
Yeah,
You know,
because it's close. You know,
you know
just
what
the
I'm saying?
basic fact.
Maybe it's not that it's actually some kind of nipple adaptation. Maybe it's just the most efficient way
Now
to
you're just
transfer
saying
liquid.
bullshit.
No, they'd be way longer
Now
if
you're
they
just
were
saying dumb
supposed to be
shit.
efficient. That's why they
Why
make
is it
the
bullshit?
rubber ones longer.
But if
Wolves
they're
have
longer, they
nipple.
would flop around and they would get caught on tree branches and stuff.
No, we tuck them away, tape them down.
I mean, where are
We
you going to
figured
get
something out.
tape?
Well, mammals.
Well,
What is a
just tree
mammal?
sap, whatever.
What is a mammal? You answer that. What is a mammal?
I'm
What
just saying.
mammal gives birth via its womb? You know what I mean? And they have vaginas. They breastfeed milk. That's what a mammal is. When you look at a wolf and you look at, I don't know, a chimpanzee or a bonobo, you can tell that share a lot more in common with these guys than I do with amphibians or
Yeah,
I do
but
with.
ducks have vaginas.
Well, yes, that's
And they're reverse
very
corkscrew
unique.
shaped.
There are
Yeah.
exceptions, and there are like lots of
And what about a
weird things.
snake? Does a snake have a vagina?
Yeah,
It has a cloaky, like a bird,
clothes
basically.
are
It's the
weird.
same thing.
No, the penis and vagina, you know, there's lots of weird stuff.
Go fuck a dolphin.
I heard snakes have two penises.
Go fuck a
Some
dolphin.
of them do.
You know that echidnas have like 9 heads on theirs.
See?
Yeah, let me
They go,
tell
look,
you
you might
something
take a
interesting.
mermaid. No, go
Our
fuck a
penis is
mermaid. You
closer
might
to
make a
a
dolphin.
gorilla's. Let me tell you something interesting.
Wait, is that how you regress, Charles? You gotta go fuck a dolphin so that your offspring is like half mammal, or half land, half sea mammal. And then if it fucks a dolphin, then it becomes more of a sea creature.
No, I
You think
don't
that's
So
believe
be
how
that.
like
we
a
get to
mermaid.
regress back
Maybe
to
that's
Bestiality, man. Why are you talking about
Well, I
bestiality?
mean,
That's crazy
technically,
stuff.
I think that the dolphins are trying to evolve because they keep raping humans, and that's true.
I know. I was wondering about
well.
that
You
shit
know
as
what's really
well.
weird though
Which
is
way's that
if they're
one
put in the
going?
water with a pregnant woman,
They like don't fuck with her. They like leave her alone.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're
that's
trying to
smart.
evolve. They're not just sick in the head. They're
They're
not just
smart.
Bill Cosby's of the sea. You know what I'm saying? They're just trying to
yeah.
get their evolution on. The problem
I,
is
th-
it's
I,
not working.
I think some of them probably are just Bill Cosby's.
Well,
For
let me
Maybe
tell
some
you
These
something.
reason,
stories of
the
women
ones
it
getting
that
just
keep
held
screwing the
not
across
penguins before they
the
compatible.
eat them.
land
Yeah.
and fucking raped by
You
dolphins.
know, it's kind of a hole in my theory how other species is not compatible when they try to procreate. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to explain how you could have, you know what I'm saying, two different things procreating, but you know what I mean? Don't worry about it. It's true.
Well, let me tell you something interesting. The penis of the gorilla and orangutan is called glans penis. It's closer to the human penis, while the chimpanzee and bonobo they have filiform penis. That looks structurally very different
Can you
from
milk a
the.
gorilla?
Yeah, because they have
You
a
can, you
baculum, don't
can.
they?
It's gross, but why would you do that? You can. You can milk
They have
anything
a
that has
baculum like a
fucking
whale.
breast and is female and is like ovulating.
No, I meant a male gorilla.
Uh, I don't think so. I don't really think you can milk males. I have to double check.
I think you
It's
could.
gross.
There's people that like milk
How
bulls
can I do both?
and then they get the semen and they shove it into the
That's a
female
different kind
cows.
of milk.
But it's
Yeah, well,
milking.
some men can
That's
be
more of a
milked too,
protein
actually.
shake.
Point is,
But I
it's
think
milking.
that's due. Some human men can be milked too, but that's probably due to like endocrine dysfunction or something like that.
So
Endocrine
you can
system,
milk a gorilla even if it's male. I proved my
and the
point.
same with human beings too. Human beings also.
Maybe a penis is just a giant nipple.
No, penis is different. Penis is not a nipple.
Listen, you don't tell me, all right? I'm the flounder of evolution, okay?
Well, you have flukes.
Yeah.
Why does evolution bother you so much? I'm just curious. Like it doesn't.
Bother me. I invented it.
Well, it doesn't disprove God, though. You believe it or not, it does
But
not. All the time.
Avian,
Yes.
no hard feelings, my friend. But fuck, you have to look up what the fuck sarcasm is right now.
Well, in my culture, sarcasm didn't really exist. To be honest, I'm very,
No,
very
this whole thing is just him being funny, and you took it all seriously. Like,
yeah.
That's
come
how
Well,
I do
on.
it too. I
it
usually
does.
do that too, unless
Yeah,
it's
because
really
this
obvious.
topic is this
Like,
topic is
serious? Come
important.
on, man. No, like, I'm serious, Avian. Avian, I even said it to you like about 3-4 times. I said it's just a joke.
Yeah, I
Like,
got you.
don't take it seriously, and you just started nutting off about it. I
Yeah,
sat
he
back
didn't
and
get
watched
Gay
it
Boy Advanced
happen, like,
either.
dude, and Derp did fucking well. He just kept making you look dumb. Come on.
No, I mean not dumb. I made some good points,
I don't
though.
think it
No,
makes him
yeah,
look
no,
dumb. I
I'm
think it
just
just
saying. Yeah, no,
he just.
I'm just saying. I'm just telling you exactly what happened from
I think we all
everyone
need to learn to
else's.
play again.
Yeah, you cannot milk something unless it has memory glands. That's true. Okay.
Well, I'm definitely about to play. As I reintroduce the topics of the show, I'll spend the last hour of the show doing that. So I'd like to have everybody, give some closing statements. Except for maybe Avian, I'll have Avian sort of stick around. If he wants
Are you
to.
going back to the bio-digital convergence shit?
No, it's more the Skolomowski and other topics and stuff.
Oh, okay. No, sweet as
Alul
hell.
and other
Yeah,
stuff.
no. I was just saying, if you're going back to that, then I'd stick around. Like, if
No,
you're going into like,
no,
yeah.
it's different. Yeah, it's different.
No,
It's
sweet as.
philosophy.
No, cool
Yeah,
as.
philosophy stuff. So for the
No,
rest of the show.
all good.
So
That's
so I'll play
go
music
to
and then
bed.
I'll do that.
Hey, dude.
That's a go to bed slave though.
Okay, I'm going to sign off first. I'm no
Yeah, for sure.
longer on D-Live. D-Live screwed me over. I'm only allowed to stream there for like 3 hours a day. So now I'm on Rumble 24/7. DK Spiracy on Rumble. No numbers on Rumble. Just DK Spiracy on Rumble. Come find me. I stream there 24/7. So yeah. So now I'm restreaming you on Rumble instead of D-Live.
Alrighty. Yeah, bless
All right.
you, DK.
Much love, no fear, everyone.
Yeah.
Much love, no fear.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Well,
So,
you guys know
go
where to
ahead.
find me. I'll be out there on the Galapagos Islands, okay, studying for my future theories. All right. You can send me an email and a coconut. All right.
Coconut cupcake.
Right. All right. Okay. So then.
Yeah. I just want to say I love you guys. Take care. Be aware. Be safe. Till next time.
Yeah. Blessings. Yeah. Of course. All right. So me and Avian will do a little bit here.
About what? You want to read philosophy?
Yeah, I
Or
might do a couple things just for like maybe 45 minutes here, and then I'll wrap up the show here.
I have to
Yeah,
go
if you
to
have
bed.
time. Yeah. It's okay if you got to go, but
I can
yeah,
stay
please.
for like 10 or 15 minutes if you want
Oh
me to.
yeah. Take your time. Yeah, if you want to stay. Yeah, I'm gonna play music. Yeah, just stay as long as you want. Yeah, I'll play music and then I'll move on to the to some of the topics that I'm covering. Yeah, but if obviously just stay as long as you can. Yeah, thank you so much, friend. Blessings. So yeah, so everybody else, the panel I'll close for the night. So yeah, so I'll just talk about the topics that I'll reintroduce at the top of the show on Saturday. Right at the top of the show on Saturday, I think I might keep maybe a limited panel at the beginning of the show because we talked for so long today, right? It's over 4 hours of just conversations, right? Between us and the panel. So I'll open back up the show, maybe 2 hours of just presentations, right? Solo, right? In the beginning, I'll invite I'm just the friends from the Discord, right? Like Avian and Reddington and Neurojack and some of the other people that we have in the Discord there. So I'll invite a select few people on Saturday. and then we'll continue the show. I'm obviously Rant and Truth or Cop. All the people that we have on the panel, usually Zephyr, right? So I'll invite just a select few people on Saturday and see who will come by, right? Then after the 2-hour mark, I'll do, after I finish my sort of solo presentation, we'll finish the rest of the show. We'll see who we can get in here for a discussion about technology. But yeah, great stuff today. So I'll play a couple songs, then we'll move on. My friend is welcome to stay as long as he wants. Mainly Skolomowski and other things. So I'll comment on some of that. I'll read some Alul, and then we'll conclude the show. Thank you guys so much.
They try and project the image to the public that this is being done by thieves and thieves alone. And they ignore the fact that no, it is not thievery alone. It's a corrupt, vicious, hypocritical system that has castrated the black man. And the only way the black man can get back at it is to strike it in the only way he knows how.
Hey yo, I'm like Malcolm, out the window with the joint, hoodied up, blood my eye. I let you fly like fuck it. Look how these niggas duck shit. One kid hollering what, looking up, he the big wig, fake ass cat. Low life, sodomized mine, beating niggas, big bricks of bread, sell him as dimes, his feet hurt. Networking, he get no work. Yo, smack him where his hand hurt, fuck what he work. Yo, we suck and stun, snoop for the kid, laced with the pink gums. Stunting to my Baltimore niggas, daddy on the run, plus he ill on the drums. Heartburn for life, calcium man, watch him grab the tums, he's the front. Pigeon-toed Tyler, his sister with the fat ass, so hash behind up the block, plus he smashed her. Big Book did him something deadly. Act premeditated, $160 strike was the medley. Nice like Van Halen. Seen him at the tunnel with his skin paling. Did 2 days, thought he was jailing. You get close, look at his hands. That's the same kid that cut his wrist. Talk about the Cubs did it. He bantamweight, frontin' major league. Eyes like Sammy Davis Jr. Rounded off with a fade. He sport the Bob Hope classics. Ran down Asics. Came off the short sleeve shit, be the basics. He eat ham, shitted on the cell twice. Big hatted Jews, rush the nigga out in Crown Heights. Yo, let me tell you how the game go. We getting rid of all the prostitutes. Tony want the street back for sure. Too many hustlers, too many thieves. We're fucking up who's willing to fight and teach the seeds. Too much TV, guns and robberies, lust, and greed and hate. The four devils jealous. Yo, I sand punch Mace in his face over some bullshit the other night. They kidnapped his brother, poking it with knives. It's raining, 85 degrees, kinda muggy. One of them nights you throw on that face is real ugly. Yo, we up in Jonesy's posing. All these niggas know me from fucking with underneath niggas. Heavy parolees, yo, we played the speaker. And from a distance we can see these chains. The peace slate, flat on his chest was 2 planes. Ashy hands, yo, no need for rings at all. He just cracked the V8 backed up, linked against the wall, looking flower. He just came home, he on like a fuck. Did a dime for holding up the guards up in the armored truck. 10 years later, son, 280 on the weight tip. He throwing up 6 plates plus. He studied Matrix, he's a Wally horse. Started out sweating through his velour. Cockeyed nigga, back of his neck, he had sores. Salmon eagerly rolled up on him. Toxie off the turkey with the joint on him. Flower look, his man stood up before him. Bitches hit the table. Jock King Reed stripped off his cable. Shots went off. Salmon get a chance to make his debut. Flower grabbed Tiff, his man with the sideburns. Hat fell off. We know his wigworms. He hit behind Rich. CLR hit the light switch. Young girls were trampled in the men's room. Pool pistol with mace and broke the handle. Desperate, crawling to the door in all fours. Shin kicked the jukebox. The theme song rolled in. Was this yours? Oh my goodness. Why I grabbed the Mo bottles, rasping. He laying like a gay model, shouting out Sebastian. He smiled with his teeth missing. Begging for mercy, no more guard. There's 68,000 down at Pier 3. Out came the cannon. Whistled out zagging. Sham snatched his flag. 4 big rocks into the dragon. It's over. Another story told. Lying with the snakes, tongue kissing. Yo, let me tell you how the game go. We getting rid of all the prostitutes. Tony want the street back for sure. Too many hustlers, too many thieves. We're fucking up who's willing to fight and teach the seeds. Too much TV, guns and robberies, lust, and greed and hate. The 4 devils jealousy.
So they try and project the image to the public that this is being done by thieves and thieves alone. And they ignore the fact that no, it is not thievery alone. It's a corrupt, vicious, hypocritical system that has castrated the black man. And the only way the black man can get back at it is to strike it in the only way he knows how.
trade nothing for a day like this one. Toy top on the tip, just waiting to get spun. Been ever so patient, forever for right now. The what, where, why, when, and how will it come down? What does it all mean? Means everything that we've taken for granted needs to be replanted in a larger pot. Had a conversation with Mother Nature about the relations. She said, "Hook because they get sparked a lot." Is there any precision to making the decisions of which pigeons get to vision the walls from outside of the prison? Honey child, would you please set me freedom? Remove the blindfold so I can meet them and greet them. Hit them with a hammer, pound them with a fist. Beat your face against them till you lose your consciousness. Ain't going nowhere, it holds its ground. Keeping an eye on the soul to see what type of head is poking out. And when the cops come round, what I know becomes less. Check the lost and found, sneak a peek up its stress. Leave a healthy tip or put the ashtray in my pocket. Cause I ain't ever even seen the inside of the cockpit. So I'ma have another all-nighter for breakfast. Open up a head trip and revel in the excess. A little solitude, small piece of serenity. Just enough to balance all the negative energy. People find a way to making me lose my mind. Wanna die in my bedroom and never be found. Wearing nothing but my headphones and a cigarette. Watching this cheap turntable spin round and round. Pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, and the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. Pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. Pitch control don't work, and the needles are dirty. Pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. Say I scream the words to my songs and my dreams, but I wasn't sleeping for as long as it seemed. Until my wrongs are redeemed, I'll be right. Fingers are yellow from the cigarette, sore from holding the pen tight, handling just fine, but nothing to compare it to. No need to run, cause it's probably just as scared as you. No more trying to justify the choices. Praise the Lord that she wasn't born voiceless. I'd like to thank all the supporters and all the bridges over all the troubled waters. And all the mothers that gave birth to control freak daughters. And the kamikaze sheep that walked straight into the slaughter. I'm not mad at you, nah, I'm glad that you had the chance to gather a reason to climb this ladder. Best believe my shell toes match my halo, and I'm on a mission to fix this turntable. The pitch controls don't work, the needles are dirty. Pitch controls don't work, and the needles are dirty. The pitch controls don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch controls don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch controls don't work, the needles are dirty. Pitch control don't work, and the needles are dirty. Pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. Pitch control don't work, and the needles are dirty. And if I could fly, then I wouldn't have to drive. And as far as I'm concerned, everything could stay alive. I'd wear a Walkman when I travel, so I could rock the music without the talking and the babble. Cry me a river if you feel that's what you need to deliver. A fistful of how you figure. You can sit there and play with your gum for all I care. I can see through your stare. I can see through your stare. Pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, and the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, and the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, and the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work, the needles are dirty. The pitch control don't work.
Alrighty then. Yeah, so Buddha couldn't stay. It's all good. Yeah, he said Wednesday, he'd be showing up a lot less on Wednesday. So I appreciate his time. I appreciate all the people that were on the panel anyways. I mean, let me move to some of the topics that we were preparing. Here, hold on. Let me put a little, I could probably put a little piano thing on, while I break it down for you guys, right? Because we got a couple of things, and I'll be opening up on Saturday, possibly with a limited panel, right? Opening, right? Only because, we've had so many people joining the panel, so we appreciate everybody, right? I think last week we had Sky Angel, then Tony Drake, right? We had lots of different characters join. We appreciate all of them. We had Joe Cool today, right? So we get a lot of conversation. We had Max Vision give a bunch of cool presentations, right? So yeah, we got a lot of cool people calling in, and we appreciate their correspondence. So so yeah, so for some of the people, it's always good, right? But of course, we're talking about certain topics, right? And I framed a lot of different ideas yesterday, right? In terms of you know, basically we're looking at how God and nature, right, sort of relate to this idea of humanity, right? But also knowledge, right? Right, because man's knowledge can be thought of as separate from man himself, right? So you could have the archetypal man, right, which is sort of the universalization of man, right? This is when man is perceived, right, through knowledge, right? So knowledge becomes superior to man in the notion of the archetypal man, right? Uh, right. Reason is sort of built on this notion of the collectivization of man, right? And you can see many different notions like this, right? You can see the idea of the species being, you can see the notion of the apotheosis of the state, right? You can see the notion of Christ consciousness, right? And the notion of Christ consciousness is kind of like a messianic idea, right? But it's sort of utopian, right? And the notion of the apotheosis of the state, right? It's sort of the collectivization of man that becomes the sort of you know uh, uh engine of progress, right? And of course, before Hegel thought of this notion, right, of the apotheosis of the state, right, you have the notion of the collective spirit within Rousseau. So this notion of the collective spirit has to do with sort of amalgamation of man, right? And sort of the amalgamation of um sort of all the consciousness of man, right? So this idea of linking up people's consciousness into the hive mind, right? That's one aspect of looking at it, right? But the second idea is sort of transcending nature through the use of reason, right? So it's about man transcending nature through the use of reason, right? So the second idea, the first idea is about a desacralization of knowledge. The second idea is about a desacralization of nature, right? And you could see in both of these movements, right? The movement is towards the loss of the sacred, right? Yeah, blessings, InfoSec. I appreciate you, man. In both of these movements, you see the movement towards these abstract principles defining nature, right? The use of reason, right? Sublimation of nature through human reason first came through the these abstract principles, right? Like all is number, right? So defining nature through the use of language, right? As Gorgeous says, right? That logos is not the essence of things, but there is each logos for each of the things that are, right? Actually, let me locate this direct quote, right? Since I have the text right here. Let me try to find where this is. Yeah, for if things that are thought of, says Gorgeous, are not things that are, what is not thought of. I mean, what is not thought of, right? Where am I trying to find this, right? Because he does mention the logos in here, right? He says, for that by which we communicate is logos, but logos is not the objects, the things that are. Yeah, that is the quote I was trying to locate. For that by which we communicate is the logos, but logos is not the objects, the things that are, right? So this is starkly different from the prologue of John, right? Where it says en arche kai hon logo, right? Or in other words, in the beginning there was the logos, right? And this idea that in order for man to become like God, God had to become like man, right? Okay, for people like Teilhard de Chardin, right, this means that nature becomes transformed in the process, right? Nature becomes closer to God as man becomes closer to God, right? So in Pythagoras, right, when he expresses that all things are number, right? Let's go to some of the Pythagoreans, right? Let me get to some of his beliefs on mathematics. It says those called Pythagoreans took hold of mathematics and were the first to advance the study, right? And being brought up in it, they believe that its principles are the principles of all things that are. Since numbers are naturally first among these, and in numbers they thought they observed many likenesses to things that are and come to be. Okay, notice they distinguish things that are and things that come to be, right? Remember we talked about the Hermetic corpus, right? Where it says the two are all there is. Right? The two are all there is, right? What comes to be and what creates it. Right? These are the two things in existence, right? And it is very similar to the ideas of Aristotle, right? What did Aristotle say? He said form and matter are two substances, right? Form and matter are the two primary substances in existence, right? Right. And then there's a third very interesting idea that we sort of explored yesterday, right? Is that God creates the world in order to know himself, right? So nature and God are involved in a transaction, and the transaction is about knowledge, gaining knowledge, right? So in the Hermetic corpus, creation is necessary for the existence of God. It's almost a weird inversion, right? Okay, so you can see that God and matter both existed at the beginning of time according to Hermeticism, right? So the creative principle is primary right, to nature existing, right? Right, just as, like, 1 is good and 2 is bad, right? In Orphic Pythagoreanism, right? They combined their ideas with the sort of Zoroastrianism, right? That's where we began our discussions, looking at Zoroastrianism, right? So yeah. So let me look at some of these ideas, right? By the Pythagoreans, right? We're sort of unpacking this, right? It says Pythagoreans equated justice with geometrical proportions, right? So that backs up what I just said, right? It says because proportion ensured that each part receives what is due. Early Pythagoreans believed that after the death of the body, the soul would be punished or rewarded. Okay? Okay, they believed in a judgment, right? Humans could through their conduct ensure that the soul was admitted to another world, right? Remember, they believe in reincarnation, right? They believe in reincarnation, right? Okay, the reincarnation in this world equated to a punishment. In Pythagoreanism, life in this world is social, and in the realm of society, justice existed when each part of society received its due. Right. It's kind of like the same principle that exists in the universe, right? About a sort of harmony between the different parts of the universe, right, exists within the society, right? So he thought of it as different functions within the society functioning within the plan for universal justice, right? And you could see this reflected within the Republic of Plato, right? The Pythagorean tradition of universal justice. Universal justice, right? Like the city and speech in Plato is a plan for universal justice, right? So this idea of universalism, right, that there's ideals, right, that there could be a political ideal or a perfect type of state, right? Where the notion of universalism, right, it did not come about with Judaism or Christianity or Islam, right? But it was way before that, right? Way before that, right? In fact, a lot of these sort of systems of learning that rejected the religious outlook of the day, right? Like Pythagoras had sort of a cult, right? Right? They sort of ascribed to these ideas of universal justice when it wasn't really that popular at the time, right? For Pythagorean philosophers, the soul was the source of justice, right? Right, in the Phaedo of Plato, right? Phaedo, I believe, right? This Socrates is talking about the soul, right? The transmigration of the soul, right? So yeah. So anyways, let's go on a little bit of here. The Pythagorean tradition of universal justice was referenced by Plato. For Pythagorean philosophers, the soul was the source of the justice. Through the harmony of the soul, divinity could be achieved. Injustice inverted the natural order, according to the 4th century philosopher Heraclitus Ponticus. Pythagoras taught that happiness, quote, happiness consists of perfection of the numbers of the soul. That kind of sounds Kabbalistic, right? The numbers of the soul, right? Perfection of the numbers of the soul, right? A surviving fragment from the 3rd century by the late Pythagorean philosopher Asara. Okay, I'll skip that, right? Body and soul. Pythagoreans believed that body and soul function together, and healthy body required a healthy psyche, right? Early Pythagoreans conceived of the soul as the seat of the sensation and emotion. They regarded the soul as distinct from the intellect. Okay, they regarded the soul as distinct from the intellect. Okay. That's also sort of a similarity they have with the Kabbalah, right? Kabbalah believes that soul and spirit are 2 different things, right? Okay, okay, let me just read a little bit more of this, right? They believe that the soul was immortal. The surviving texts of Pythagorean philosopher Philolaus indicate that while early Pythagoreans did not believe that the soul contained all psychological faculties, the soul was life and harmony of physical elements. Okay, so think about that, right? That the soul consists in a harmony of physical elements, okay, and doesn't have any essential property on its own, right? So that is kind of getting to sort of emergence from physical properties, right? Sort of emergence from physical properties, right? In terms of the Pythagoreans, right? Again, it's Philolaus, right? However, the teaching most securely identified with Pythagoras is metempsychosis, or the transmigration of the souls. Metempsychosis, right? Which is also related to this other concept, anamnesis, right? Metempsychosis is the transmigration of the souls, right? Anamnesis is the sort of remembering of your past lives, right? Okay. So yeah, so let me play another little song. Let me read something by Philolaus, right? Philolaus of Croton, right? And I'll read some of this later, right? He says, concerning nature and harmony, it is like this: the being of things which is eternal and nature itself admit of divine and not human knowledge, except that it was not possible for any of the things that are and are known by us to come to be without the existence of the being of things from which the cosmos was put together, both the limiteds and the unlimiteds. Right, the limiteds and the unlimiteds, right? All right, that's enough of that for now. We'll move to Skolimowski, okay, and then we'll move to some of Elul, right? And that'll be quite enough for today. But I'll play a little song for you guys, right? And I appreciate you guys, right? This little video I made. I was supposed to play music while I did that, but yeah, I forgot to do it, but yeah. But yeah, appreciate you guys.
Rotten apple made me like this. I don't give a fuck. I shoot a nigga down and cut a nigga up. New York made me this way. I'm all about a buck. My close friends was murdered. I bulletproof my truck. Shit New York taught me. It's no mercy. It's no letting it slide. I'm so thirsty. New York, nigga. It's Queens, New York, nigga. Listen, nigga, my face got the scars. My brain got the smarts. My chest got the heart. To fuck some up, what nigga, I make it hot. Police be on the block, cause P just shot some stupid fucker. Now you niggas can't pump. All mad at me. Should be mad at that nigga who was trying to crab me. You know I ain't the one. If you didn't, you know now. These niggas be slow till I blow the 4 pound. And put a little pep in they step. I got death for any nigga with an S on their chest. That's my reflexes. When you hear them shots, see if I gave it to a nigga, he deserved what he got. Look, my hammer got the cure for your amnesia. How conveniently we forget. P is Black Caesar. It's hell over in Queens. That swell up in my jeans don't mean I'm happy to see you. That mean I got the damn apple like this. I don't give a fuck. I shoot a nigga down and cut a nigga up. New York made me this way. I'm all about a buck. My close friends was murdered. I bulletproof my truck. Shit New York taught me. It's no mercy. It's no letting it slide. I'm so thirsty. Yeah. New York, nigga. It's Queens, New York, nigga.
Look here, nigga, I fuck niggas up every damn day. Yeah. Welcome to Bucktown, USA. Smack earth, wind, fire, and ice out your face. Take crack out your pocket and scream by raw bass. Knife game, gun game, nice with my hands. Fuck around and leave you right where you stand. Listen, punch your fan in the face and I lose the sale. Nah, I punch your fan and get soothed in jail. Calm stocking, 20 sets of 10 arms locking. Pray 5 times a day, a law doctrine. You got a hot song, but your album is not popping. Fuck it, do your thing, Holmes. Money off of ringtones. Best MC that you know with no chain. Rather spit lines and sniff lines of cocaine. Yeah, I did a whole eighth in the sniff. You call it the problem, I call it the gift.
Like this, I don't give a fuck. I shoot a nigga down and cut a nigga up. New York made me this way. I'm all about a buck. My close friends was murdered. I bulletproof my truck. Shit New York taught me. It's no mercy. It's no letting it slide. I'm so thirsty. New York, nigga.
Yeah, so in terms of the Hermetic corpus, right? You know, like is only understood by like, right? In order to become God, right? I mean, I mean, in order to understand God, you have to become like Him, right? And God created the world in order to know Himself, right? So not only does humanity, right, ascend to God, right, through this creative principle, but the transformative potential of the world contains the knowledge of this becoming, right? So if you put this sort of becoming on a sort of time scale, right, you sort of get these sort of concepts of evolution, right? But it's sort of paradoxical because it's nature that's driving this evolutionary principle, right? So where's man's personal responsibility in this, right? Man sort of loses his personal responsibility in this. We'll see an example of this, right, with the fox, right? Because what the fox is arguing is that nature is driving human evolution, right, to the point where our capacity to create tools and technology is inevitable, right? Yet it's saying that this epitomizes a sort of perfection of humanity, even though it leads to the existential crisis of man, right? You know, and perhaps the obliteration of humanity, right, as a species, right? And of course, the response to this is that, so what? Right? What if humanity chooses to destroy itself? Right? But of course, it's kind of hard saying that It was a sort of a choice at that point, right? So this idea about the existential crisis of man, right? And the sort of idea of man as the root of himself, right? Or man is the measure of all things, right? That this idea doesn't give us deep enough roots. That neither anthropocentrism, right, of science or anthropomorphism of religion, right, can sustain these sort of cosmic projects, right? Because man is a sort of cosmic being, right? Right, and we need an ultimate frame of reference for those questions, right? So the problem is that religion has separated man from nature, God from nature, right? And evolution has sort of caused us to be swept up in the changes, right? It's saying that human progress is sort of driven, right, to its inevitable conclusion, right? So it sort of lacks human responsibility, right? Right. So the idea of nature being this mechanistic system, right, or us being separate from nature, us being separate from the process of creativity, right, that exists within nature, right, or that's driving man to some sort of inevitability, right, that sort of takes away our creativity, right, our sense of purpose, right, and you have this dual pull between the atomization and massification of man, right? So he talks about this idea, right? He says that some of this comes from Newtonian physics, right? Newton and Descartes, right? Right? Descartes said, mind and matter are sort of separate things, right? And then Newtonian physics is sort of the mechanistic universe, right? And then the sort of progress, mechanistic aspect of progress, right? Right, through the pseudo eschatology of progress that's in Marx, right? Sort of takes this notion of the apotheosis of the state that's in Hegel and sort of secularizes it, turns it into this notion of dialectical materialism, right? But he still has a sort of utopian ideal at the end of the day, right? That's actually coming from partly from Swedenborg, right? But also partly from the messianic expectation of the Jews, right? And he said, the root of man is man himself, right? And Engels called Marx's theory scientific socialism, right? So whether we go from the ancient theorists like Plato and Zhang, right, or go to the modern theorists like Rousseau and Mumford, right, we're looking at critiques, right, of man's reliance on techniques, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and skip to that, right? So we got some of this, right? And okay, so we'll look at that next time, right? Skolomowski, right? Okay, we got Skolomowski on deck, right? We got Mumford on deck. The concept of mega technology, right? Let me open this up, right? Let me go to this concept of mega technology, right? And then I'll open up some Alul, and then I'll end this here on my end, right? Got some interesting discussions I want to share with you guys before it's too late to replay these discussions, right? But let me go to this idea of mega technology. Okay, he says technology is not neutral, right? We need to understand how technology affects the whole system. Although we may find computers to be very helpful, or television to be entertaining, or cars to be able to move us rapidly where we need to go, these things also have serious effects on the environment, the speed of life, the way we think, on how we view ourselves, on how we react with nature, on how power changes in the system. All these systemic changes, right, they're things that happen in the system as a whole, right? It is not enough for us to say that cars are great because they will drive us someplace. Cars speed up life. They make oil wars happen. They create terrible waste problems. They require a lot of pavement and they kill people. So you ask a series of systemic questions before you can make a judgment about whether cars are good. The same goes for computers, TV, and every technology. Right? Local technologies are small scale, right? Large scale technologies are inherently centralizing, right? They force socialism, right? Let me read a statement that I read many times here, right? Socialism is bound up with the idea of machine production. Socialism is an essentially urban creed. Industrialism, once it rises above a fairly low level, must lead to some form of collectivism. Machine production suggests socialism, but socialism as a world system implies machine production because it demands certain things not compatible with the primitive way of life. It demands, for instance, constant intercommunication and exchange of goods between all parts of the earth. It demands some degree of centralized control. It demands an approximately equal standard of life for human beings and probably a certain uniformity of education. The computer doesn't change the fact that great centralized institutions, corporations, trade bureaucracies, militaries, governments, and so on are able to use those same capabilities with far greater connections, far greater real world power. Right, the objective factor of power in the world is technological. It's technological power. Technological power, right? Um So the internet will not stop a forest from being cut down or global money speculation from affecting the fates of whole societies. These technologies have to be viewed in all their dimensions. If computers enable you to do your work a little better, I don't argue with that. But it's an illusion for us to believe that our use of computers will somehow change the centralized system of power. For those who would like to see equitable and sustainable systems develop, The use of computer amounts to a net loss, not a net gain. Anyways, let's move on to Alul here, right? Let's move on to Alul. And then we'll we'll cut this out. We also did a lot yesterday, right? We did a lot of stuff yesterday. Tuesday show, right? It was popping with information. Okay, and obviously there's over 300 videos, right? The last 300 live streams, roughly speaking, you could look at the introductions, right? It's got 2 hours of introductory presentations, a lot of them, right? And there's tons of material in there. Tons of material. Right? You could just go days and days and days, right? The number of times I've had to explain to people that we've already talked about things that they try to bring up, it's insane, right? Anyways, let's go to this. Alul, right? Page 279, right? He says all the great American corporations and technical groups have representatives accredited to Washington who are in charge with looking after the interests, not necessarily in a capital sense, of the groups they represent in the legislative branch. That's right. Most of these fucking idiots, right, that are Fedrus fans, right, from the weak ass debate we had, right? They claim they control technology when most of their life is furnished by the use of machines that are created by experts that they'll never meet. And sometimes these experts are keenly aware of how they're affecting other people's lives. Right? Like one of our friends was talking about working for a company, right, where they sell animal food, right? And he knew about better made food that other companies sold. And sometimes he'd have to whisper to the people that he sold to and say, you should actually have your dog eat this different food than the one we sell. Right? Or what about the surgeon that told Jacques Ellul, right? His friend is a surgeon, and he told him that a lot of the majority of the transplant organs that come for the transplants, for organ transplants, they come from car accidents. Right? If we didn't have car accidents, we wouldn't have organ transplants. Right? Everybody is talking about the great medical benefits we have, right? That we can get organ transplants, right? But of course, where do these organs come from? They come from the thousands of car deaths, car-related deaths, right? Or what about the internet-enabled crimes? There's an increasing list of internet-enabled crimes. Right? I recently looked at a story where a girl with Munchausen syndrome contacted a mentally handicapped person to help them murder their own mother through the internet. Insane stuff, right? Where people get access to other people, right, who are not in the best mental condition and convince them to commit all sorts of crimes. Right? It's becoming a serious problem in society, including trafficking children and all that type of stuff, right? Being enabled by the internet. And of course, none of these lobby groups are doing anything about it. right? They rather see how much funding we could send to Israel and all that type of stuff, right? And how much we can help the corporations. Almost all of the great American corporations have technical groups and representatives. Looking after the interests of the groups they represent in the legislative branch. The system is perfectly legal in the United States and allows the retention of some connections between politicians. I'm going to start reading now. Who are more and more detached from the reality and technical conditions of life. Such institutions represent weak modes of adaptation. It is certain that modern state will eventually be compelled to total adaptation. Total adaptation may come about through a revolution, such as the one which created the Hitler state. It may be, however, the Constitution will not undergo even the slightest of alterations, and that the whole problem will be reduced to the elimination of political powers, which have become purely formal. A mere matter of show, the conclusions seems unavoidable. Seems unavoidable. And this is a road upon which our democracies have already entered. But if the state adapts itself completely to technical necessities and becomes nothing but a huge machine, will it still be recognizable? Or will it still be recognizably a state? Let us first remark that the question in no sense presupposes a theory of a technological state. Things happen today in a political sphere without the benefit of the minutest theory. There is no longer any question of a state in the classic sense, says Alul. He says there is no longer any question of a state in the classic sense. To think otherwise is a laughable error on the part of the majority of those who talk about the state, be they philosophers, theologians, publicists, politicians, or professors of constitutional law. They are speaking of the state in terms and forms appropriate to the state of the 19th century or to that of Napoleon. The situation today is radically different. Political power is no longer precisely a classical state. It will be less and less so. It is an amalgam of organizations. It is an amalgam of organizations with a greatly reduced organism for making decisions. Let me read that again. The political power is no longer precisely a classical state, and it will be less and less so. It is an amalgam of organizations with greatly reduced organism for making decisions. Reduced because the interplay of techniques, decision making has less and less place. The situation is comparable to the elimination by automatic machine of the individual who retains no function except that of inspecting the machine and seeing that it remains in working order. The political power is like any well-adjusted organization, which functions with a minimum of decision making. With a minimum of decision making. Such an organization is not too rigid and knows of itself how to adapt to current problems. We are admittedly not yet in this situation, but we are rapidly approaching it. This is the state which Lenin would forecast for the socialist world. The state, he said, will be reduced to consensus taking and statistics. Lenin, of necessity, described the future role of the state in very similar fashion. The techniques of organization were not yet developed in 1920. What seems to be important is that the state Lenin foresaw was a purely technological state, which modern organizations imply are in fact identical. And of course, Stalin agreed, right? He said that the industrialization is the only condition necessary for socialism. Right? This is what he claimed. Anyways, that is all we had today. I know that was a quick run of a lot of ideas, but lets you know what's coming up on the show. Right, we got lots of different thinkers coming up. Right, we've already looked at Orwell and Carlyle and Samuel Butler. Okay, we're going to continue looking at Ellul and Mumford. Okay, we got some of the Shangzhou coming up. We're going to be looking at the Kala chakra. We're going to be breaking down the ideas of evolution. We got a cool discussion coming up with on Denizen's show, right? So we'll see if that's still available, right? We'll play that for you guys, right? I'll play some songs for you guys, and we'll be back soon. Blessings.
Yo, this life is hard, my mental level is odd. Like devils versus gods, there's a war inside my mind going on. Squads represent each separate emotion, 3/4 of us. It's made of water, now it's land versus ocean. Soaking this like open wrists. Had this bitch sucking my dick for poker chips. Deep throating shit, then she sucked her own tit. I got bizarre shit, you're just a moving target. Taking style, dissolve it like its witches made of brown sugar vomit. Fright night of the Commons, 7 Islamics named Muhammad. Rocking scimitars to give the illest scars to the godless, unworthy ones. My verse is 30 guns, blasting off north, my rhymes are sawed off. I'm hip hop, I can't be bored off. I blast the scripture like a fracture blister. Attack the system like when cancer hits a random victim. Splatter liquid like a twisted sponge. Like a biscuit hits your lungs, twitch your tongues. Be putting rhymes in circulation like it's drugs inside bloodstream. I like to visit other countries and see other things. The universe is all ours to explore. That's what my mother thinks. My brother thinks most cats are shady. I think he may be right. But fuck the darkness, I'ma try to focus on the light. I'll be the true and living ruler of my world. I want world peace. So if you got beef, stay the fuck away from me, chief. The green leaf is spark like soldiers stomping through a swamp without high boots and radiation suits that's glowing in the dark. It's like a tribute to myself. I'm burning kids like they was real cheese. And every time I open up my mouth, I kill and see. I see the greatest men destroyed by cowards, so I watch my back. Most of these cats are so damn whack that they be lost without their gas. That's how to say gat is evil. Only people can deceive you, make you bleed through wounds that never heal and leave your spirit feeble. It's depressing, but the truth will set you free, so just accept it. You don't even have to like my shit so long as you respect it. Without the positive, we can't exist. Without negativity, we can't exist. Without the sunshine, we can't exist. Without the darkness, we can't exist. And yo, without a little love, we can't exist. Without liquor and drugs, we can't exist. Without 3 religions, we can't exist. Without the television, we can't exist.
It's like my views are ancient, rusty like basements, studying spaceships. Ain't no probe, metal primes, testing temperature placements. Teeth of a dragon, face of a lion. Children of Zion, half-breeds who defecate iron. Burnt the flames, we find robots from Bible insane. Unknown intelligence, sons of the sun with astral resonance. Bigger than rap, I'll live a life of decadence. Turn mass to energy, medicine man, telepathy, conspiracy, television. Up in my pyramid, never derivative, without less plate. Confess state, more like stones in my breastplate. We militant, we legislate laws with no decency. 98 brothers use brains and low frequencies. One time for sharp kids, killers who biblical. There's 2 ghettos, one of the mind, the other physical. I break fool and be on that hunt for other nakers. Race haters and pigs in white sheets running with Quakers.
Without the inner self, we can't exist. Without oxygen, we can't exist. Without a bag of weed, we can't exist. Without a little greed, we can't exist. Without some real friends, we can't exist. Without the dividends, we can't exist. Hey yo, without photosynthesis, we can't exist. Without mass transit, we can't exist.
Prepare for mental combat, I react like 20 gats and holster straps. Ready for nothing, that's something to take me down or hold me back. Then I come back only to walk down mean streets like Perry Thomas. I'm a seminar with 8 masters who practice the art of conscious. Beware of toxic water, drinking tap could be a death trap. A setback to leave our arms folded and our necks back. Existence leads back to Egyptians and conflictions. War missions, color green, property and fake religions. Battle scars, nudie bars, a million stars who crash the earth. Leave us jerked and out of work. Forcing our mind to convert to carry weapons for aggression. Ruger and double sevens crash the heavens like I demo did at Geffen. Now we prepping barracudas, run computers. Deja vu is forming fluids in our brain to reenact the deep attack that caused the pain of social differences. Existence is the listeners and businesses. Now fiction is like menaces, walk the world until it finishes.
Without some food stamps, we can't exist. Without reproduction, we can't exist. Without a clear mind, we can't exist. Without a little pride, we can't exist. Without self-respect, we can't exist. And yo, without some intellect, we can't exist. Without the old school, we can't exist. Without the real truth, we can't exist.
They missiles flying guided, inside a world divided. I'ma lead up the resistance that's already been decided. Nothing will divide us. Egyptians used to get around and glide us. Trappers always abound as pounds of blood and guts inside us. Arizona Wilder said Diana was a sacrifice, bringing in the age of Horus, pentagrams of appetites. Slaughterhouses, abattoirs, meat works, cattle bras. Depopulation and HIV by John Rappaport. Baba Sama, hunger, Jabalon's a strange god. Great architect of the universe in the space pod. Oak leaves, fascies, Nazis and V-signs. Symbolisms everywhere, it's all up in the designs. And every time a peace sign is thrown up, that's the devil's claw. Did you know there was a base under the Denver airport? Art Bell, George Norrie, call us what they war stories. Hotlines from east of the Rockies with all the ghost gories. Diabolic, Scientologists sedated. L. Ron Hubbard, mashed potato brain, the famous mother of the darkness. Castle hallways of enormous. Near the village of Muno in Belgium next to farmers. They program children inside the walls of that satanic building. Virtue as the castle of the kings by all the noble gilded mill phallus. Upright pillar in the chalice with a blindfold over the eyes and a balance. There's cloud busters shooting ports up at chemtrails. Applaud a vagabond dog as dog eat up your entrails. Iron up an infamil, high as hell off Seroquel. Depical to silent killer, Rosicrucians loving hell. The beast is risen. This underground, this ain't commercialism. Women feeling good about themselves, injecting botulism.
World war, shadow of spaceships, Illuminati, conspiracies, all that shit just what you know about fucking you can't hide from telepathic mind control. You can't run. Draconians enslave your soul. Polar caps melt. You see it coming to planet X. Reptilian beasts, they come to take our planet next. You can't see when so-called leaders hide the truth. You're not free. Illuminati holding the proof. Prepare for nuclear bomb blast. Coming to Armageddon. Strip the chip from your palm fast and send devils to heaven. Supreme deities with angels and demons. Brain is misleading. Genetically splicing, altered and faltered for their convenience. Outside they acquire galaxies. Valiantly rousing maladies. Balancing found in fallacies. Bouncing across the boundaries of all dimensions. It's just perplexing, rifting comprehension. Open up your third eye. Realize the herd's blind. 6 billion sheep along defenseless cattle for the evil. After golden human flesh, are begging sacrifices equal to all these false gods. Anunnaki devils and shapeshifters. Like snakes slither hidden from our visions of slates written in ancient times. They tried to warn us, but we didn't listen. Olden wisdom banished by new systems of religion driven by the very lizards themselves. Brainwash society, Illuminati in on the actual full sobriety. The governments are earth undeniably serve the serpents under the surface. Cold-blooded politicians have heard us. It's urgent that we learn the purpose of this. Prepare for Holocaust, civilians, kid, your names on the list. The mark of the beast, unleashed within the physical realm. Exist the digits that spell the 666s of hell. Imprisoned in cells in underground labyrinths, some felt. That's where the demons be. I call the colonies the autonomy of atrocity. No theories or hypotheses, it's real as it gets. I'm trying to tell the population to unite as a set. It's you can't hide from telepathic mind control. You can't run. Draconians enslave your soul. Polar caps melt. You see it coming to planet X. Reptilian beasts, they come to take our planet next. You can't see when so-called leaders hide the truth. You're not free. Illuminati holding the proof. Prepare for nuclear bomb blast. Coming to Armageddon. Strip the chip from your palm fast and send devils to heaven.
I build reptilians caps just like Hannibal Lecter. Rip off they fucking mandibles and spit cannibal lectures. Hang your intestines round Christmas trees with skulls dangling. Decapitation of Grand Dragon Master Masons. Halfling faggot faces blown the fuck off, brains dangling. Chop up these spineless motherfuckers worshiping Satan. Eating women and children, raw as so vanilla. Your face is fucking shape-chipped into Godzilla. The Zodiac killers, we behead Leviathan. Iron like a lion from Zion, spitting fires, wind, divine design to rhyme Christ-like and mad slicks. A blind light to these kids and finite beyond the blind side. Designed to tie this shit. Fuck trilateral commission, satellites trying to fry my brain. The gods must be crazy, no, not insane. Escaping gas chambers through the astral projection, laughing peasants. In a fraction of a second, I pass back and
you can't hide from telepathic mind control. You can't run. Draconians enslave your soul. Polar caps melt. You see it coming to planet X. Reptilian beasts, they come to take our planet next. You can't see when so-called leaders hide the truth. You're not free. Illuminati holding the proof. Prepare for nuclear bomb blast. Coming to Armageddon. Strip the chip from your palm fast and send devils to heaven. I spit perfect
prophetic poems regarded in the omens of the ancient. Mystic gifts in the mist like this bliss, the mind's meditation. So levitation, break barriers to solve the equation. I'm hardly impatient, look to the darkness, calm for a spaceship. The entire human race basis in this oasis. A genetic experiment where it makes breeding with semen, we're not aware of it. Religion is false, evolution is false. Get down on your knees and pray to the reptilian boss, killing the cross. Mass media corruption, influence of the seduction. Shapeshifters in the shadow behind the panel, pushing the button. The Ronnie Martin authored novel, The Coming to 10. They done it once, so what the fuck does it matter if they did it again? As the code attacks your spinal cord, I'm dropping final thoughts. We in the final war. Millions of years ago, they was here with the globe with nukes, killing the dinosaurs. A prophecy from Anunnaki to the Illuminati that probably body me for my philosophy. I rock the beat. It take more than you slimy snakes to topple me. I do a verse, it's soft and tragic. Conspiracy theory epitome in this universe holographic. With the thoughts of a master, throw a fit when I spit over the patent.
Every time I stop, it seems stuck. Soon as you try to step off the cannabis, the megalithic master craftsman, closet meteorologist. Look at the clouds, a storm's coming. That's common sense. I think about this giant monstrosity. 10W40 blood viscosity, big enough to kill the whole colony. Lock a low, get some. The oil leaking from the barrel drum. I did it all for dinosaur blood. The sky's falling, ocean levels rising from warming. Too much carbon, we all know the real causes. Jet planes in the skies are stalling. Dark night, riot squads are forming. Snakes are calling, rap jumping shit, but the water is boiling. Produce is spoiling, state of affairs appalling. Can't believe people still snoring. Wake up and stop yawning. Vengeance is mine in the morning. Speech recognize speech. Mobile phone signals out of reach. Data plan says your talk is cheap. The king is a captive, trapped by his own inaction. Celebrated after global disaster. That's when Father Arthur Poor Papa was captured. His golden palace was collapsed amidst great ashes that were once wide green pastures where panthers, dragons, tigers, and rappers. He's but a man of minor stature, the megalithic master craftsman.
Futurism, writing abuse and lyrics. My opinion of your opinion is you can't be serious. Dubism and futurism, writing abuse and lyrics. My opinion of your opinion is you can't be serious. Dubism and futurism, writing abuse and lyrics. My opinion of your opinion is you can't be serious. Dubism and futurism, writing abuse and lyrics. My opinion of your opinion is you can't be serious.
My brain ain't getting enough oxygen. I built the robot in cannabis and now nobody's stopping us. Black hoodie in the streets, lumberjack fleece. The beast from the east, by the thunderclap beats. Ability from baggage, drop it. Hip hop is toxic. I administer the detox process all over the beat. I rap with my robot to feel complete. He can rap better than me. Not a hard thing to do to cut RTR loose. He gonna show every one of you he got the juice. Personal revelations regarding self-preservation, daily wealth generation, and healthy meditation. Cool, but I can't, so I shit my pants. I'm okay, I go sit over there. You go dance, have fun, go find romance. Can a matchbox man? No, but a tin can. Grant me the cloud, I'ma fix this thing. Give me a mic, I might decline to sing. Lyric for lyric, layer for layer, prayer for prayer. They want the future thinking I'm a failure. Gotta write some bars essentially kept from cloud storage. Cause I ain't got the memory for it. I gotta do my best if I can barely pull my own weight. These the island stone face told me to wait. Strength of vitality, the Arawak Indians dance for me. Half a dozen UFOs land from 7 billion minds. Couldn't control the mind of one, controlling solar flares coming from and 51. Mixing board, channeling, mixing all, channeling spirits like a beach ball. They stare at us all, evaporated. Terrestrial walk through the walls and explain everything about reality. It's all the man who knows who are grim walls, master, matrix, manifest miracle motions into a crystal quartz ore. Smoke chemicals into our hall, a danger to you all. But stop to the score, to the last man fall. Possess all knowledge known. The days of old when all lyricists were bold and they spoke from the soul. The oxygen I breathe is 1 billion years old. Born to translate goals to something great unfolds. Animate ones and zeros, a sideways explode. My occipital logo, remote viewing the globe. biological electrodes protrude from my probes, connect the nose, flows tabulated below. You already know. Unlimited meaning with words beyond human reserve, beyond being protected or served. College is a source for knowledge. So the CN51 command the complex of the robotic. Basal 3 compliant, the psychopath science of LIBOR clients that have to revise their diet, eat their own food, export or supply it, sell goods to the market that allow us to buy it.
Benefits, it's like 120% of poverty. It's not 100% of poverty.
How come America is like the world's capital of being stuck in the past?
I think it plays a global role in that regard, unironically. Like, it's the traditionalist of the Western democracies.
Oh, like if there was like a globalist conservative party, it would be America.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And I think that has a lot to do with, you know, how we run our economy, you know, where we're just like, the essence of life is to work. And the more you work, the better your life will be and the happier you'll be.
Oh, they say the man that, or the person that works the extra hour makes, what, 3/4 more money or something like that.
I super duper promise. And not only that, I guarantee you won't get laid off for no reason just because
and
of
none of my rights will ever be violated ever.
Yeah, and not only that, your kidneys and your prostate are totally going to be fine for the rest of your life.
Oh, nice.
What?
This is a deal I can't pass up.
What planet was that, Denzia?
That's America.
America?
That's America.
Yeah, it was a book. It wasn't a planet. It was a book that he was selling, but you know, you didn't get a title, so you can buy it.
Welcome, the machine lies to the broadcast,
Blessings.
everyone.
Blessings.
Hello, the machine lies.
Yeah, blessings. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, blessings.
Nope.
Back at you, brother. I'm thinking that was a code or check.
What you talking about, Willis?
I don't know. I'm just shooting the shit.
Yeah, democracy. Demo crazy. Demonstration of craze.
Oh, I gotta do it. I'll be right back.
Huh?
It's from Fela Kuti.
That's what I think every time I have to go take a shit.
Is it what he was doing?
I don't know, but it sounded familiar to me.
Expensive shit.
Yeah, some of us have an open mind, and some of us have an open asshole. Melanie.
You know, some people's minds are so open that when they encounter new ideas, it just like falls out of their head.
Yeah,
I've got to go back to the Furby thing. I can't help it. You look like you got your mushroom glasses on. I don't know. You getting hot?
Oh, like you have to call me. I don't care if you call me Furby.
I'm not. I'm asking you. Are you getting hot? Whoa, he's got my beard.
No,
come back.
Because democracy basically means.
Oh, I like that beard.
Government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded. So let us say, government by the retarded, for the retarded, of the retarded.
So we go
like
to Sharia. Is that what he's saying?
Do not be a retard.
Yeah, that clip looked. I mean, it's a classic, right? But that clip looks like he's looking at some presence in the audience there. Like, yeah, that's you people. That's you guys.
What do you mean, you people?
I feel like
there's
this is a
somebody-
bad theory where
there's
Buddy
a-
can't
there's a-
speak for himself.
Yeah.
If he's speaking for a bunch of people, and that makes you very likely to be wrong.
No, I don't mean those people. I'm talking about a group of people in the audience that is sitting together there, and he's addressing them like he's definitely.
It was probably George Bush.
He's
Well, he
I mean,
put
corn pops. You eating corn pops?
He
The
put his
guru.
money where his mouth is because they committed
Right.
election fraud. I mean, right? So,
Yeah.
so they did do that. They poisoned salad bowls and they also shipped in homeless people so that they could vote in the election. So he actually real time committed election fraud.
Except homeless people statistically have a hard time voting because they can't get voter ID.
Right. They had a problem with them. They
So
put
that
them all
doesn't
in
make
camps.
sense.
Why you and your poverty thing this morning, Furby?
Because
what?
Oppressed people and poverty, and I don't know. That's just what I'm hearing theme.
Okay.
That's just what
It's called virtue signaling. Get with it.
Well, hell, I'm old and slow, buddy. It takes me a minute.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't think
thinking
it's
of
virtue
offering-
signaling if you're actually
Yeah,
poor.
I do.
I'm thinking about offering a master course in virtue signaling. One thing might
Sorry,
be
what are you
like,
saying, Denizen?
one thing might be like if you're against a group of people, just say they're trying to take over your group, like what 10th Man does.
You're trying to take over my fucking group, Furby. Stop it.
Yeah, the panel verse. Yeah, no, I'm definitely doing.
I'm not a panel verse. I'm not. No.
Dennison, is this the panel verse?
No, definitely
Oh,
not.
damn it!
Now you're in the wrong place. Once
You're in the
again.
wrong place for that shit.
My panel dar is off.
Right.
Wherever I am is the panel verse.
That's a good one, though.
I mean, the one thing I've got
I will
going
hate you
for me
forever
or against
for-
me, I can't
for
tell,
things.
is I haven't smoked weed yet, but I'm about to. I have it in my hand, so.
Oh, I thought you meant never. I was like, whoa.
Oh, geez, please don't smoke
Oh,
weed.
no.
If this is you not smoking weed, I like this you.
Yeah, this is a
What?
good you, Furby.
Nah,
If you
yeah,
want
I'm
to
smoking right now.
stay chill like this, it'd be great.
I'm like uppity.
But the
Yeah.
people are retarded.
The people are retarded.
So offer free education and basic living wage and stuff like that, and then people will actually have the ability to get smarter.
You
Oh,
be
wait, no,
honest,
America
what you
wants to
want?
do the opposite of that. Shit.
But you cannot
I think we-
educate the retard.
Yeah. See, I agree with you. We should do what you're saying, but not expect your outcome. The retard's gonna stay a retard.
I think that we should do whatever this Furby wants, around the Furby.
But not for the Furby.
Yeah. Also.
Oh no,
for
yeah,
the
I'm
Furby,
already good.
because
I-
of the Furby,
I take care of
around of the
myself.
Furby, and but just not in my.
Is that a Furby, by the way? The fox that you have?
Not a real Furby. It's an AI generation.
Oh,
think
you
that
used to
guy-
be named Furby, though.
Yeah.
I remember.
Do you think that?
I developed a Furby phobia because of current Furby showing on my screen.
Do you think that guy thinks that he's retarded?
I was thinking about doing like a Halloween Furby, but then I realized I'm lazy and it's probably not going to work.
I was wondering if he does.
You would just set
Just
it
cut the
apart.
ears off and you'll be set.
Well, yeah, I was going to
I
do
was
like
wondering-
the vampire Furby, obviously, because I can get little fangs, and it would have been kind of cute.
Like
Never do it.
if I project myself into it, I usually think I'm in awe of how dumb I am, right? But I'm also terrified by how much dumber most people are than I am.
It's very humble. Is
I
it?
never think
Is
about
that
that.
humble?
I'm surprised I'm still alive. That's how stupid I am.
I'm not.
I
can
honestly
relate to
didn't
that.
think I would make it this long, to be honest with you. I don't know how I ever got a job or, managed to keep a shelter or a roof over my head, just because the amounts of stupidity, ignorance, and like the level and frequency in which I fucked up and made the worst decision I possibly could as often as I possibly could. And then I talk to people and it's like, you know, they're not even the same species. They're so much dumber than I. It's like talking to an 8-year-old child, but except at least an 8-year-old child is curious and their mind is growing. So they might actually ask questions and learn something, whereas most people have the knowledge of an 8-year-old child and like the rigidity of a fucking man on his deathbed.
Right. Right. The curiosity of a tree stump.
Right.
Yeah, I think part of it is like privilege, right? Like a lot of people are raised with privilege, and therefore you don't necessarily need to be smart to make it. You just need family and friends that will support you regardless of how stupid you are.
My intelligence is a privilege already.
It
In
sounds
and of itself. I didn't fucking do anything. My mother
it
did
sounds
most of
like
it.
this fox is doing a lot of projection there.
Yeah,
maybe. I my problem with society though isn't like the intelligence thing. It's the fact that like we can't
Your
decide if this is
problem
supposed
is
to be a
society.
meritocracy
Did you
or
say
not.
that? Can we capture that? Your problem is society.
Sure.
That's what you said, right?
But like we can't decide if this is supposed to be a meritocracy or a democracy, right? So like if it is supposed to be a meritocracy, then just accept that. But we kind of like we say it's democracy, but then we'll be like, oh, we're going to defer to smart people, which you
No.
should and actually makes sense. But
You're not going to get out of this one. That's going to be
Well, I think they
Government
meant it
by
to be
the
a meritocracy.
For the retarded.
Right, because
I
they
think a
said like,
meritocracy
well,
would be
like,
a good incentive to be smart.
yeah, because they said direct democracy is mob rule, right? So they said if every Athenian was a Socrates, then all of Athens would be a mob, right? So, so they basically said that direct democracy is untenable, so we need some sort of meritocratic system. Right?
I mean,
which is not unreasonable, but look what it led to.
Right.
I think you only need that kind of
pretty much a
meritocratic
republic,
element
right?
when
That
your
is-
systems have grown too big for the people they govern.
No, I mean, a nation should be ruled by the laws that it states.
Oh, I don't think nations should exist at all.
Yeah. Well, that was the response of the anti-federalists, right? The anti-federalist papers. They complained about the size of government, so I think they were right. Right? They said empire building is bad policy, right?
I wouldn't even say government. I'd say like all systems, corporations too.
Yeah,
they're untenable.
We should.
So, what do you think? I mean, what do you think is tenable?
Anything that can be self-sustaining.
Right. Well, we have a model for that in nature, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a social ecologist.
Yeah, I'm kind of an ecologist too. Yeah, I agree with that basic premise. Social ecology, community forestry, or something like that. Local communities should practice something like that.
There's also
and that's scalable too.
Yeah,
right.
There's a book called The Gift Economy that talks about like instead of our current model where somebody has like excess, they hoard it. You have an economy that like encourages people to share that shit.
Well, have you ever looked into Arnie Ness and deep ecology?
No, link it.
Good stuff there. Arnie Ness. And Aldo Leopold. They got some good ideas on that. Sam County Almanac.
Murray Bookchin that got me into this. But I'm interested to hear in other people who write about the same thing. I'll post a link to the Serviceberry in the side too, because it's a good book. I should actually read it again.
Ecological crises are symptoms of deeper social dysfunctions.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. Radical democracy, decentralization, mutual aid, and ecological responsibility. In other words, like realizing you're a human being who lives on planet Earth. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Well, that's what capitalism and neoliberalism removes us from. Even classical liberalism with like a lot of the assumptions it made, like, oh, you were created by God to serve God's purpose.
Right. Stewards of like a subservient nature.
Yeah.
and then you shouldn't even aspire to know like good and evil.
So I put this article in the private there. If you go to the development of the theory, right, it'll mention Norwegian philosopher Arne Næss, right? So he's got a lot of ideas on deep ecology that I think are worth. Ness cited Rachel Carlson's book Silent Spring. I don't know if you've like seen Silent Spring.
Okay, I think
Rachel Carlson.
I think the difference between what we're talking about is deep ecology is sort of like a humanist branch, whereas like for me, Bookchin's social ecology is supposed to be like prescriptions that can fundamentally get us past communism's response to capitalism.
Yeah, this is more nature first, like humans like second. Like humans should go for like humans should sort of involve themselves with what's already going on with nature. So this is sort of against humanism.
Humanism. Well, it's humanism without the human supremacy or exceptionalism, whatever you want to call it.
Right, anthropocentrism. Right, without anthropocentrism.
Yes, perfect. Right, Bookchin. Just gonna post a random Bookchin book in case anyone's interested.
Yeah, there's also James Lovelock, right? The Gaia theory.
I've heard of him.
You guys hear about that?
I'm not. I have trouble reading multiple books of the same subject in a row. So I've read a couple of Bookchin's books, but then and the Serviceberry, but then it was kind of like I've got to read books about Palestine and stuff so I can actually prep for a debate.
Oh, really? What type of debate is that?
I was going to debate Average Debate Enjoyer on Jake Farr's panel about the Israel-Palestine thing. But
you're talking about Project VO Pod? Jake Farr? Okay.
And this month has just been a big fuck you to any goals I have. So
yeah, I've debated on there on Jake Farr.
I was really looking forward to it, and then just one disappointment after next, and I'm honestly wondering if I'm going to get out of this like poverty loop or not.
What do you mean by poverty loop? What are you in a poverty loop?
I'm able to afford less every month, and therefore I run out of money to spend on myself sooner every month. And
you say spend on yourself. What does that mean?
To get like all the things that I need to replace, like makeup and clothes.
Like a shaver or something like that? Is that what you mean?
Well, razors are part of my basic needs.
But you pay your bills that you have to pay.
Yeah.
And you have nothing left. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I could try quitting weed, but it would have been easier to do that earlier in the year. And this time of year is like tormenting myself if I try to quit.
Yeah, these are not the months to be quitting shit, in my opinion.
I really should have just like taken a month-long break from work because that's what makes me want to smoke. Like earlier this summer, and I would have been okay. But
why did you not do that?
Well, because I thought maybe I'd get some money in my hands if I worked, and I think I did twice. But otherwise, he couldn't pay me.
Well, damn.
Yeah, everything's going to shit.
Why don't you get another job, Furby? Someplace else.
I'm very unemployable. Very difficult to employ. And very difficult to maintain employment from my end.
So did society do that to you?
No. Like I hibernate, which I don't think we can really accommodate in people because most people do not hibernate at this time of the year. But like I sleep 12 hours a day, once for 4 hours and then once for 8 hours, almost predictably, but it gets kind of messed up at certain times. And that's part of my seasonal affective bullshit that I hate.
That's a lot of sleep, Furby.
I know.
I sleep like 4 hours a day.
That's not a lot of sleep.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Well,
that's the way I'm wired. That's the way
You would expect for people to take the ones that take more sleep would make more sense, and the ones that take less sleep make less sense.
Yeah.
But
You've never been overtired then.
Once again, it's the opposite.
But I heard you complain about the wealthy, the rich, and then poverty. That's why I was asking you those questions, Furby. How much?
Oh, because
work
I'm
do you put
deeply
in?
invested in hating the rich.
What did Mel say that didn't make sense to you, Voight? All right, moving along then.
Did he hear you?
Yeah, he might have stepped away because he's muted. I think he's just intimidated by the fact that he can only do a black background, and I have my dots going through space background, which I really want to work on and improve a bit. But
I
I'm
was
happy with.
hoping he would turn his avatar on. Like camera's fine, but this what would you call it? Purgatory between camera on and camera off is triggering me.
You know what's funny is like the strongest stylistic choice I made with this Furby was to not make it blink, so it kind of had like the uncanny thing, and nobody comments on that. Nobody notices that. It's kind of disappointing.
It's because of the red and blue.
Oh,
it
even before
distracts you
that,
from the eyeballs.
like I can easily switch that out.
We'll switch that out and see what happens with the frozen eyeballs staring like you're from another planet.
I'll look naked now. That's the best part.
I'll pass. I've seen you with clothes on. I damn sure don't want to see you naked.
There we go. Yeah, I feel like I look naked when I don't have the eyeglasses on. I don't really care. Like it's not like it doesn't make me feel insecure. It's just my eyes are very big.
Yeah, no shit. And they're green.
Oh, they're blue, aren't they?
Well,
Okay,
I
I
don't
guess they're
know.
aqua. Yeah, kind of in between.
No, they just look ugly, dude.
Oh, damn it. Okay, Voy, Dennis had a question.
Furby in the headlock.
Ugly.
Voy, did you hear Dennison's question? Oh, you can see my mouse on screen. God damn it, OBS.
Now you got your eyeballs all sorted out now.
So sorry. So sorry.
Peter
The
with
only
the
reason I
glasses
do the
on.
glasses is because like it feels right for the Furby to wear these. As soon as I put them on, they were like, "Oh my god, how can I ever take these off?"
We'll keep them on then.
I feel like it adds like a bit of dynamicness, whereas like without them, it's just orange. It's just one orange thing.
It reminds me of a police car. I got to be honest. The red and blue. Yeah.
That is ironic because I hate the police.
Yeah. You hate every damn thing.
Although I bought this flashlight for my keychain and it has like red and blue lights. And part of me is like, oh my God, I can impersonate a police officer right now. I feel so powerful.
See, that's what's wrong with you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Get lice.
But boy, if you only try to point out that there's something wrong with me every time that I'm joking, it's really going to crack me up. Like I'm not going to be able to take you seriously.
Oh yeah, if you call a joke when nobody laughed and then you blame me, that's even funnier, dude.
I don't make jokes because other people find them funny. I make jokes because I find them funny.
I can feel the love. I can feel the love.
Tonight is where you are.
Furby don't need a white knot.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I'm asexual, so there's no love ever.
I think I'm asexual after that.
Now just listen to the original version, and it'll come back.
I think you're hitting that big joint you got.
I'm definitely hitting big joints.
I'm nursing my bong right now. But for some reason I can't commit
That's
to
the
it.
vibe you're putting off. That yeah.
I have it sucking from my tit.
Well, that's
So
what you get.
I asked the chat to pick a topic, and they pretty much told me to go fuck myself.
No,
God,
no, don't.
how is your chat such a disappointment? They can't donate. They can't kick me off. They can't suggest topics. Why are they even here?
Whoa.
This is why I don't
think-
stream, by the way, because I would totally cultivate an audience of like men who just like being shamed as like a kink. But I don't want that.
My actual audience tends to be pretty eclectic.
Do you
But
think anybody knows what that means? Or I
This-
don't know what eclectic means, but the other thing that the Fox.
yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
think-
we all
yeah,
knew
most
what it
people
meant.
do.
This is Teriak's audience, technically,
Uh-huh.
because 12 people would not be watching me otherwise.
Ow.
And they're still watching.
Denizen doesn't talk to me, even though I've always been nice to him, despite him being mean to me. My apologies for being mean to you.
That's
Andy's around a lot.
I think the
You guys are
smarter
all
you
so much
get-
nicer than me.
I think the smarter you get, the more quickly you can not like somebody based on one thing that comes out of their mouth. Because you start to realize like
Yeah.
that person could not have said that thing unless there is something deeply, deeply wrong with them. Like that is not
Yeah.
that is not just the thing they said. It is a whole other thing going on.
Yeah.
Symptomatic.
so. Do you
Right.
recognize this feature because it appears in other people like it does in yourself?
Oh yeah, takes one to know one. Totally.
Okay.
I'm
you
told
recognize
this
when I'm
is
being
a
sarcastic?
panel.
Yeah.
I don't think Voy does recognize when you're being sarcastic. I think we literally witnessed that earlier.
And if I
Good
was
morning.
eating ice cream, how would I know I was eating ice cream?
What the fuck? You sound like Shiva.
Your mouth would be cold.
Dairy Queen?
These people.
They will tell you what ice cream you're eating. They'll tell you
Oh
what flavor.
boy, you are making it very fun for me to just try to annoy you, and so I want to let you know what you're creating here, and it's going to be more and more fun for me to piss you off. So
you know, you don't have to even try to annoy me.
The counter troll
Socially awkward.
engaged.
Yeah. Mine sounds like this when it's activated.
Mating ritual. One's too old to mate, and the other one has been changed so they cannot mate and is asexual. But they still will perform the dance.
I'm not
the
asexual because I
mating
can't mate.
dance of
I'm
the troll.
asexual because you're all on here. You people are on here.
You fucking
Asexual troll now lashing out at everyone around them. It's part of the mating ritual.
At least 10th Man's doing something different, and I honestly can't shame him for that.
Do you stream Auntie Terrorist? I have no idea who you are, but I'm sorry for being mean to you, allegedly.
The onlookers from chat enjoy the mating ritual of the trolls. They're not able to come up with any topics, so 10th Man must ad-lib to make the show.
Why don't you come up with a
entertaining.
topic instead? Because this is...
I am! It's the troll mating ritual!
No.
I'll find another.
You go to your room until you come up with a real topic.
Now there's a topic.
Okay, just careful how you treat 10th Man. He probably has some weird kinks, and that might be one of them.
You think he does?
And you, turn your avatar on. Who do you think you are, black space cameraman?
Dude, I don't have a StreamYard account, so instead of
you don't have to.
I just like to show the black.
Turn it back off. Oh my god.
Either cam up or just turn the camera off.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I can call him S.
Pink ass, that is. Pink ass.
What's your Dutch name? Or are you doxxed or not?
My name, okay, dude. I fucking hate it when people pronounce my name.
You don't have to tell me.
Set. Thank you.
Say it.
Yeah, it's not Seth because I
Good dog.
So so if you say Seth, I will hate you until forever. But if you say Seth,
I was like, sit, you boo, sit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What
But
if I have a list?
Seth, I like you.
What if I have a list and I can only say Seth?
Yeah. That's what makes me hate you. Once again.
You hate me because I have a list?
Yeah.
No, you kind of start it with a Z. It works out better. Zet. For me, it does. How's the potato chips?
Fuck, dude. It's been years.
I'm just gonna keep doing that until you actually guess what it is. And it's really funny because you're probably not gonna guess it.
Are you doing that?
Yeah. Want to hear it was like when I chew with my mouth open?
Damn it. I hate that. I'm nobody, but I hate that. It's rude.
I was just proving that I wasn't chewing with my mouth open before, that's all.
Okay.
These people.
You people.
Yeah, well, I mean, that includes my people, right? These people includes my people.
I don't know. I don't think the Dutch are included in much at all. Your national sport is something nobody's ever heard
I
of.
like that. I like that definition. Thank you.
Wait, what's their national sport?
Ditch jumping or something like that. They literally pole vault across a ditch.
That's how we got here. That's fucking how we got here, dude. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Oh my God, my voice just went down. Time to start voice training.
When and how was I mean to you, Auntie Dearest?
You're just going to have to accept you said something once on the internet and they took it personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had people come up years later and go, there was a time you said the thing, and oh my God. And I'm like, thanks for the engagement. Like, I don't even know what to tell you, bro. I'm glad I stuck in your head.
So
no
what
fucking
way you're getting in my head.
I mean, you just have a bad memory, 10th?
No, I do not give a fuck about people on the internet at all.
Okay.
Here's the thing, right? Like you're going to have, like, if you're a streamer, you're going to have like thousands of interactions probably per month with like various people who you've never met and probably won't meet again. It is probably impossible for almost everyone to remember all of those interactions. However, if you're an audience member and you're looking up to these people in some sort of parasocial or like looking up to them as a micro celeb, everything they do will weigh on you. You'll take it personally. And so you will remember that because you're remembering them as micro celebs. You go back online, you're like, oh yeah, these people exist. Their experience is literally the exact opposite of ours.
Are you projecting again, folks?
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's with the first part, yeah, because I there are plenty of people who I don't remember that I've interacted with.
And what the hell is a micro celeb or celeb, whatever you said?
Oh, like an e-celeb, right? It's like
a very low level celebrity.
Okay.
But it's like when you're online, it's easy to believe these people can be a celebrity because you're kind of within those echo chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very courteously, I guess. Yes.
I don't know, Mel. You say very sensible, rational, down-to-earth things, and people seem to think you're fucking crazy.
Yes. That's a very quick yes and a double yes.
Why is
if there's something that you don't like about somebody, that means you have to reject all the things that they say or do or everything about them.
Oh, that's gayer than a bundle of sticks.
You can't ever agree with anything anybody.
Sorry. Come back, Tenth, man. I'll shut up.
Buddy. You can't. You have to disagree with. You have to just blanket disagree with everything that they say.
Well, that's not exactly the relationship between me and you, is it?
I actually kind of agree with 10th Man there, but sorry.
I'm sorry. Have we met?
Coughing a lung.
Never mind. I would even agree.
But have we met before?
I even would agree more with the Muslim in this company than with the two of you, right? With the 10th Man or the Melody Fox.
Okay.
And even the Muslim makes more sense, in my world.
At least you're self-aware. Most Christians that I tell that they have more in common with Muslims than like atheists, they like freak out.
It's not like I'm taking you seriously. That's why I take you out of the equation altogether, right?
I don't know. I have a lot of Christian friends who understand.
It's like you took me out of the equation and put me in an entirely new equation that actually governs everything you think about when I'm on panel.
You're a furry, dude.
Okay. And? You're not.
Exactly. That's why you're out of the equation. Yeah.
Or I'm in the equation because you keep talking about me.
Yeah.
Wait, what's a furry?
A Furby. Or furry, I guess, either one. I don't know. That's your ballpark.
It's a trend that started with 4chan and kind of it was supposed to be like a troll meme type thing of making fun of like online porn. But then turned out a bunch of people had it as a fetish. And so it became like a fed art community.
I do sense some shame in you, trying to explain what a Furby actually is.
I fap to it because it has like an artistic sort of like honesty to it. Yeah, it has like a sort of like a
It doesn't sound
realness.
like it. It doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
It sounds like you're kind of.
I wouldn't say I'm a part of the community just because like I don't participate in it and I genuinely don't vibe with it in like a personal way. Like I don't wear fursuits or anything like that.
Just like me. Just like me.
Okay, cool. The whole Fox thing is just supposed to be me trying to put like a persona to my schizotypal disorder.
The fuck does that even mean, dude?
Here we go.
Furries have a bestiality fetish, and is that why they like to dress up as animals?
Godverdamme.
I mean,
So you have schizophrenia?
No. Schizophrenia and schizotypal are different because schizophrenia is considered to be like a full-blown genetic expression. In the schizoid personality disorders, which go up in severity as you, it goes up or down in severity from one side to the other. Schizotypal is the least severe.
So are there tons of types, or can you name a few of them? Is there like
schizotypal?
A few of them.
Schizoaffective. I used to know one other, but I just haven't talked about it in a long time, so I forget.
You forget?
I think there's just like a general schizoid personality disorder, but that might have become schizotypal. I forget. God damn, my lungs did not want me to have that toke.
How would you like me to forget about you? I mean, that would be a good thing for today. I'm going to forget all about you.
Whatever you want to do. You see 1,000 faces every day, or you forget 1,000 things every day. Make sure this is one of them. Does anyone know where that's from?
No.
What? No. There you go.
God damn, you all didn't play GTA enough.
Who now? What?
I was working. I didn't have time to play GTA. I paid my bills, so I had some money extra for me.
Nobody. Good point. Nobody who works ever plays video games.
Other than 3, I played 3 for a little while, but that was a long time ago.
I would say 5 is a masterpiece. Like it may as well be like a movie / video game type thing.
There's too many options in those games. It's like a game. It's like a movie with buttons.
Yeah, I need to be incapacitated when I watch cinema.
Yeah, like where do you have to, like I don't know. Like they had like real games when we were growing up that were actually hard to beat. It wasn't like a movie with buttons.
GTA is actually hard to beat.
Yeah, I guess I haven't tried, so I can't say.
I guess you could install like a bunch of mods to make it easy if you wanted to, but then you could at the same time you could install a bunch of mods to make it nearly
Yeah, I'm talking
impossible.
about like Adventures of Batman and Robin on Sega Genesis. It's like impossible to beat it.
I mean, some of those games were just made because they didn't know how to make games that were beatable. There was no like formula for that.
That might be true. That might be true because you get to like level.
Shows.
Yeah, you
The
get to like level
Simpsons-
6. It gets super hard. Yeah.
The fucking Simpsons for NES is just stupid. It's such a stupid game. I'm actually learning coding for game design at the moment. It's going slowly, but I do intend to teach myself. So it will go slowly.
You're going to teach yourself.
Yeah.
You're learning, but you're going to teach yourself. How the hell does that go together?
Well, usually when you're teaching yourself, you're in the process of learning. Wait, are you in the process of learning right now?
Me?
Chicken chills.
It's a nice one. That's the best return I ever heard.
Is it just me or is Voy flirting with Mel? This is like pulling the girls'
I was saying
pigtails.
fucking
I feel history.
Elton John earlier.
I am. But
Is there
it's
some
not
history
working.
here or what?
Every but Mel, So I guess I'm in the lost.
No, I just pretend.
Yeah,
not
they
to
used to
notice
date.
because
They used to date.
It's
playing
so
hard to get.
unsold.
Playing hard to get. Well, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm not used to that.
I actually like the idea better that I was scaring you away.
Learn that game.
Can we go back to that? To me scaring you away?
Well, he actually has some interesting insight on certain things, when you well, I guess you have to figure out how to pull his string. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, look, Exiled knew where your quote came from.
Nice, yeah, you got it.
Our good old friend Exile done.
Exiled done. Little X, as I call him, because I'm the original X.
I'm surprised that the internet hasn't caught on to the thing that I used to do as a kid, which was try to find words or like sets of words that you could take like the last letter of the first word and put it to the first letter of the first word. Like that's like a hobby in its own right, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, what's a good one?
What you talk about, Willis?
Maybe
now
you
I
need
can't.
to get
Of course, I
outside
can't
more.
think of any. Of course, as soon as I go to think of examples, my brain's like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" But like, okay, so like in French, like sans often means like free, like it doesn't have something in it, and just so like say you had egg. This is a really bad example to be clear, but say like you had something with eggplant in it.
Did you say in French?
Yeah, and so sans eggplant.
Like how many French?
Just shut up! Shut up!
How many
Shut up.
French people
Shut
are
up.
on the panel, dude?
Shut up!
Je parle français un petit peu.
I mean, to be fair, sans is English too.
I'm
And
just
so
trying.
shut up. And so we go from sans eggplant to sans eggplant. Oh, what's a good one? What's a good one? Starship,
Oh,
right?
damn.
It could either be starship or stars hip.
No,
Yep.
it doesn't make any sense.
Stop it.
It's not even.
Stop it. Even Exile done can come up with something better than that.
Even you could do better than that, 10. Come on.
Post rep or piece of shit rep. Or yeah, piece of shit trep.
Please, some.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say I'm based upon the evidence. I reject that I was ever mean to you. I don't think this is a real thing. I think there's some kind of chicanery going on. I call
Yeah, BPD can be something that can definitely affect people's perceptions on that. I've known a couple people with it.
BPD.
And no, I'm not
bipolar?
speaking for myself, boy. Although maybe I'm just
I
undiagnosed.
think you are.
Maybe I'm just
You are.
undiagnosed. Maybe we're just
Did
all.
he forget
maybe
that
we
he had
all
his
have
camera
BPD.
blocked?
What if we all have
Or
BPD?
maybe you were
just
started.
If only. If only.
Are retarded?
Are you? Did you say you was Muslim? Somebody say it's Muslim. Machine laws.
TML is, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
A good face question too.
Whoa.
Did
Whoa.
you-
Okay.
did you-
Let's all sit down for this.
Shut up, Herbie. In your belief, I heard it was a historian or something talking about it. It was like the jinn would sing music in the garden in the ears of the people to fool them, or something like that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And I'm very curious about that. And it says that's why the Muslim faith does not really or have music.
No,
Is
they
that
have
correct?
music. No, they have music. It's just frowned upon in terms of the
Yeah.
music and the drinking.
Yeah,
The combination is kind of frowned upon, right? Or whatever.
Yeah,
so
there's a
like,
whole Arabic scale in music.
yeah, they have a lot of music though. Yeah, for sure. So,
But the
if you go
jinn
to,
in the garden is that a real? Is that what you believe?
I don't
Like, this is
know.
a good faith.
I don't know. They do have like, I'm like, there were like jinn like before, but I don't know if they'd be like in the garden, like if they mean like Garden of Eden.
Yes,
Is that what
yes.
you're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be in the Garden of Eden. The jinn are on Earth, right? So they wouldn't be in the Garden of Eden, right? They're created before humans, right? The
Right,
only
yes.
jinn, the only jinn that was in the garden was Shaitan, right? Because he was obedient to God, but he was told to bow down to Adam, and he didn't do it, right? He was told to bow down to Adam with the rest of the angels, right? Because Adam had to basically he was sort of a being who was sort of given like free will in a way, right? So he would have all these problems, right? So that's why the angels were told to bow to Adam, but Shaitan would not do it. So then him and a bunch of jinns that he influences, they are on Earth, and yeah, they whisper in the ears of men to deceive them
There you go.
about what their true purpose is. But there's good and bad ones. So not all the jinns are evil, right? They're just a different type of being, right? It's like they live in a spiritual like world.
Yeah, it's like our word for spirits.
Right. So it exists here. The jinn world exists here. It's not dead people, and they're not like demons, right? But there are demons among them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I like Shinto's kind of lore on this stuff better, to be honest.
But
yeah,
another one that blew my mind when I heard him say this. It racked my brain. He said, "For every child born, there was a male and a female." You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like everybody has a jinn, but I don't know if like everybody has a male and a female jinn.
No, I mean literally, when the woman gave birth, she had a male and a female.
Okay, this is all stuff. Okay, when people wrote these books, I'm sorry. Let's just have some historical context.
Let the man speak. It's his religion. Come on.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, I understand where you're coming from too, Melanie, because there's a lot of questions. Especially in regard to the other traditions and how they fit into the picture, like Shintoism and all the other stuff. Like I have a good friend who's a Buddhist, and he follows, more in line with the Shinto thing. So, but the thing about can
I just quickly point something out? Is that like every time in religion you hear them make a prescription, like, oh, a man shall have like 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl, or any of those like prescriptive sounding things. It's because they didn't understand biology. And
I'm trying to find out what this story is that he's talking about. So is a woman and she had a boy.
I'm just explaining why it had cultural significance to people at the time.
Nobody was talking about anything prescriptive until you did.
That was literally.
I was asking a question.
What he said was
how
literally
this
a
kind of
prescription.
solved. This was supposed to solve how they could have families, how they could have somebody to mate with.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to explain. Like, it was comforting to people to hear that at the time because we didn't understand biology, and hearing that some god would make sure that you always had one boy and one girl.
But I think he's talking about a different race of like beings.
No,
Right?
no,
You're
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
the
I'm
jinn,
talking
right?
about human race.
Okay, so human
Yeah.
race was mated to male and female by what?
By
process?
every birth, the woman would have a male and a female. It didn't change anything. It just when
So-
the lady gave birth, or the woman gave birth, she would give birth to a male.
I'm sorry, I'll keep the
twins every time.
anthropology to a
So
man.
you're saying that this is Islam?
That's what he said. Yes.
Yeah, I never heard of that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I never heard of that one personally. I've studied a lot of stuff in Islam, so I don't know.
Yeah, we
I've,
could have avoided all that just by letting me talk about anthropology and point out why people even talked about that kind of stuff at the time, despite
Sure,
not knowing
yeah.
biology.
We'll go for it now, Furby.
It's important to remember when
Yeah.
we made religion, a lot of the stuff we were afraid of was just stochastism, the idea that we could not control nature. It was terrifying to us.
Right.
And so, I'm assuming that what Crazy is saying is legit, and if it is, whatever it came from, it was a religion that was trying to help people reconcile with those fears by telling them, well, if you follow God, He will make sure He gives you one. And I'm saying God in the in the most secular way possible here. If you follow God, He will or they will make sure you get one boy and one girl every time, instead of it being
Right.
3 boys or 3 girls.
Since you talk about, I mean, you collude so much. I mean, this is your job, I guess, Fox.
Okay, I think you used the word.
So
collude
let
wrong.
me ask you.
What do you mean by collude? Because I don't think you used that word right
No,
there.
dude, no, you're not gonna get there. What is your fear? What is your fear? You don't have any fears, do you?
Oh, like being forced to
There's no
detransition,
fears. There is no
becoming
fear
homeless,
left.
going to jail again.
There is no fear left in you, right?
Yeah, but to
Nah, come on.
but to critically respond to your last statement,
This is a legit question to Fox.
I just answered it by naming 3 of them. So let's move
Well,
on.
you don't have any fears left in you, don't you?
And you're wrong. Sorry, Machine. What were we gonna say?
So guys, come on.
When we
go ahead,
push
ask the
back,
question, boy.
Herbie, you say
because then I gotta
dismiss it and go on to something else and start rattling on some study.
Because I literally just gave him
Do
3
that.
things I'm afraid of.
teaming
He's
up
just wrong. Like when
like
I've already said 3 things I'm afraid of, and he's still going to say that I'm not afraid of anything.
Well,
He's
answer
just
the man
wrong.
directly. Damn, don't run from it.
You cannot name the fear, can you?
I'm afraid of being forced to detransition. I'm afraid of being in poverty, and I'm afraid of going to jail again.
Right.
That's
Those are all self-inflicted wounds.
So precious.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah, precious.
Right.
Those are all
I
choices.
guess I choose to be in poverty. That makes total sense.
Furby, you could be working.
I'm not afraid of nature. I'm not afraid of things I can't control, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That religion has separated us from nature, right? Because of the idea that God is removed from nature, but the whole idea of science, right? Science has sort of put the final nail in the coffin, right? So, I think science, it's extended anthropocentrism through the project of secular humanism. So, it's obvious that it's also done a lot of damage in that arena, and perhaps the most extensive amount of damage because now we're looking at a post-human. There's a lot of post-human philosophies as well.
So when you say science, you mean empiricism?
Right. I was going to say science.
Yeah, empiricism.
Science in quotation marks, perhaps. But for me, the scientific method is what connects me to nature.
Yeah, that's ecology. Literally means the study of the planet and all the things on it.
Right. I'm the materialist, right? I'm the joke who thinks everything is natural. Ha ha, how stupid and naive I am. But that's, within that, if I'm to worship anything or believe in any kind of deity, it's nature itself.
Yeah, I think nature exists apart from the study of it. I think nature is intelligent. I don't think anybody has to study nature for there to be intelligence there, right?
Understanding it more brings you closer to it.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe, but knowledge, as we've increased in knowledge, we've gone down in values, right? And one of the things that we've devalued is nature. For example, nature has become desacralized, right? The first, the first religionists, they thought of nature as a sacred vessel, and then it became, God removed from nature, and then it became science, which is just man on his own against the cosmos, right? Which is a most, separation from nature, right? So successfully we've.
My only problem with this is like I hear what you're saying. I think if what you said were maybe a little bit less convoluted, because science is a very big thing. It's both an institution, it's part of academia, and it does seem to give us like an empirical understanding of the world. So, but you did agree that like empiricism is part of it. So can you explain maybe in more specific detail how empiricism specifically does that?
Well, do you find the statement non-convoluted or coherent that once religion used to rule and now it's science? Or is that too convoluted for you?
Well, because I don't think science is trying to rule anything. I think it just dominates.
Well, it dominates. It dominates far greater than religion does at the moment, right?
But I think that's because empiricism provides more utilitarian value than religion does.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, our ability. Sorry, I have something running right now. I'll stop in a minute. My ability to go out there and I have a hypothesis, and then I test that to see if it's actually true. And if it is, then I still go on believing it. If it's not, then I start to doubt that belief. I think that that's had more value to us as humans, like for building bridges and sending rockets to space, than believing in a God has.
Yeah, but utilitarianism has turned man into a commodity.
I'd say that's capitalism and neoliberalism.
Yeah, but it's also utilitarianism. I mean, these are these are cohesive philosophies.
Because you can be utilitarian without being capitalist, and then I'd argue we get much different results.
Yeah, sure, but what I'm talking about is the entire complex of views. Do you think that science dominates, or do you think it's religion right now?
And within the framework of the dichotomy, it would be science. But
right, okay. Finally, you've answered. So finally, you've said it, right? So this is
here,
what I'm trying to
finish
say,
what
right?
I'm saying to point out that if there was a third option given, I would fill in capitalism, says neoliberalism dominates both of those things.
It dominates over the scientific worldview, but it's the scientific worldview that is primary to liberalism, right? Because it works as an epistemological framework for those views that you mentioned, right? Like liberalism and all those things.
Well, with liberalism specifically, it depends if you're talking to somebody who believes in classical liberalism or not. Because the ones who do,
these things are not as separate as you say. Like, for example, Locke was a capitalist and an empiricist. Bentham was a utilitarian and a capitalist, right? So these things are not separate. Yeah. When you look at the historical trajectory, these things are intricately.
Is a fundamentalist religious person and capitalist. So they're not mutually exclusive, or they're not mutually inclusive. One of the issues is that if I try to draw this purely to empiricism, then I would actually demand that you provide me something I can test for. And I'm not trying to be an empiricist right now, so I'm not going to be a jerk like that. But you have to admit that, like, it's easier to believe something. It's easier to believe. It's easier to believe something that's not true if you can't actually test if it's true or not, right?
That's you.
Right. That's the presumption. Right, but the question is what have we gained? Have we gotten closer to nature by studying it, or have we gotten further away from it? That was the original question.
So, like, for example,
I think we've gotten further away.
Let me explain then. For example, understanding the microbiome in our gut and how important it is to maintain that, rather than being afraid of the idea that there's bacteria in our gut, when we would have been when we believed in something like miasma theory.
That's you, and it's not your gut; it's your butt.
Yeah, but we have the ability to engineer harmful forms of bacteria.
Oh, it's a double-edged sword. I'd agree.
Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. So that's the problem.
But it's easier to appreciate nature, not because like you see spirits in it or something, but for what it actually is. When we actually understand.
How do you know? How do you know what nature actually is by studying science? I mean, I don't think they've gotten closer to understanding what nature is at all.
Well, no, we definitely have. Like, for example, the fact.
Oh, no, they haven't. Where does consciousness come from? Right? Where does mind come from?
Emergent properties are properties that exist that are more than the sum of their parts, right? And
do you think mind is an emergent property?
Before, we understood ecology, we would say like emergent properties aren't possible because of materialism limits the ability for emergent properties to exist. But now that we understand nonlinear systems better and self-organization, it makes sense how in ecology emergent properties can exist.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think emergentism is magic. I think chaos and emergence are just I don't think emergence exists, and I don't think randomness exists, right?
Well,
because
maybe magic is more legit than religion then.
It's religion that talks about magic, not science, right? So that would make religion more legitimate than science.
Okay, so what's the difference between not understanding something and thinking it's magic versus understanding it and thinking it's magic?
It's kind of like the statement by Arthur C. Clarke. Any sufficiently developed technology, that you can't understand is indistinguishable from magic, right?
Right. So what if nature is just still a little bit too complex for us to describe it down to the micro scale, but we can acknowledge at the macro, like things like chaos theory?
Explain what in particular?
For example, knowing where a particular particle is and when is impossible, but we can describe the systems that govern the flows of that particle to point out like the particle will be here, but it won't be.
But what's the practical benefit of finding that out?
Well, before we didn't know where the particle was at all.
Right, but you know where the particle is. Like, whoop-de-doo, like, so what? Like, what are you going to do with the particle?
Oh, so in terms of physics, right? Like if I can turn that into like a static equation for things like how much force I can put on a bridge before it collapses, then I can build better bridges.
To work together harmoniously. Morality is.
So you need bridges.
Well, humans need technology.
Why do humans need technology?
Because we're innovators. We don't just like accept the problems that are handed to us and then try to adapt to them. We actually try to solve the problems.
Why?
Because there are solutions. We're not just to the whims of the forces that are presented to us. We can also decide to not endure those forces and do something else, like build a home. But
you said earlier that technology was a double-edged sword, so it's creating some problems.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Humans need to come up with like a proper ethical framework to handle those sort of things.
I think understanding nature will help us get there. Yep. I think we're actually in like an extended arc of influence that is still mostly religious. And now we're starting to learn some of the consequences of that, which are all the things that TML and I agree exists and are measurably worse.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's false that human beings are inherently technological, because most of our history we lived in a very low-tech state, right? So, human beings are symbol-making. We're not tool-making animals, right? Even animals make tools. So I think that's a false assessment of humanity, that we are driven to create technology. I think that's just, for what? For what purpose, right? And this is the problem with knowledge versus values, right? The more you gain in knowledge, the more you separate yourself from nature, the more you the more it leads to the commodification of man. It's not capitalism that's turning man into machines, right? Tools to be used. It's technology, right? So this is a false assessment.
But what did we make first, though? Tools or symbols?
Symbols are a primitive form of technology, right?
No, symbols had to come second, because sure, you could like make something in a dirt and a pattern, but that would be ephemeral. It wasn't until we could. It wasn't until we could paint on cave walls.
I agree with that. Yeah, tools are primary to symbols, but I think that the symbolic form,
we're getting to the
animals make tools, right? So it doesn't distinguish us from animals.
A stick in clay.
Oh, I'm not trying to distinguish us. Sorry, I just want to be able to respond to that. We're not trying to distinguish ourselves from animals.
You guys are trying to make a stick in the clay and making a stripe. You will call that a tool, okay?
Right.
That's okay, that's where we are. Okay.
But when that becomes a fixed action pattern when that stops being a fixed action pattern for an animal,
that's a tool and that's technology. Okay?
When that stops being a fixed action pattern for an animal and there's clearly contemplation behind that, then we have to attribute something more to it than animal behavior.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Well, how come technology? has driven human civilization for only in the last like 2 centuries, right?
Oh, because
it's kind of hard to explain.
Because there's a feedback loop between your brain getting bigger, then you actually learn more things, and then make things like fire or shelter that helps increase the survival of your population and your lifespan.
And that took 2 million years. I mean, where we were hunter gatherers.
Sorry, what was the? Can you explain to me what the feedback loop was that I was explaining there? Because you cut me off. I just want to make sure you understood what I was saying. What was the feedback loop?
Oh, you want me to understand exactly what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead then. You know, it's your thing, man. Go ahead.
So it's kind of inevitable that when like your brain starts to grow and you learn more things, and then you do things that increase your lifespan. Now you have longer to learn things and teach your kids and stuff like that. That's going to spiral out and exponentially grow.
So how come most of our history it didn't grow at all?
Because we didn't have those means. Yeah, humans. We didn't have big enough brains yet to.
Are you
communicate ideas to the next
So
generation.
are you saying our brains grew in the last 200 years?
I don't think you're human.
Yeah. Well, no, a few thousand, but in the past few thousand years, we gained the ability to articulate things to next generations in complex ways that we couldn't do in prior civilizations.
What caused the change to happen?
Evolution.
So evolution caused our brain size to double in the past few thousand years?
Our brain size did not double. Density, neural density doubled, but not our brain size.
So you have evidence that proves this?
Well, yeah, Australopithecus had roughly the same brain size as us.
And that was 3,000 years ago.
They had a different brain shape, and different parts of the brain were emphasized. Like they didn't have as much of a frontal lobe, but
now it's they. Now it's they.
It's more neuron density that seems
before
to play a
it was
role.
we, and now it's they.
Can you really not understand the distinction, Voy?
No, I can't.
So you can't understand when.
Tell me
so
more.
You can't.
Tell me more about things.
I'm going to ask you a question. So you can't understand how if we're referring to human development over a longer period of time, you would use an inclusive term that would include subcategories, and that if you're referring to something more definitive or more recent, then you might refer to the subcategory and create a difference between the two, even though you're talking about the same exact thing. That's beyond your understanding.
So that's the difference between we and they?
Yes.
Okay.
Particularly
we, as in all of the subcategories of development of human species over what I think when that context was used was a couple million years. And in the distinction being between more recent categories of human development and ones of a shorter time ago. The difference was being elaborated on there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the apes are more ethical than us. They're living in more ecological harmony, than humans are. I mean, I think our technological impulses have separated us from nature, and I think we're trying to dominate nature through the use of reason, and we're going to fail, right? And
are those our impulses?
The one for technology, I don't think they're natural impulses. I think we've been caught in a sort of a cybernetic loop, in the past 200 years. I mean, right?
Cybernetic for the past 200 years. We've been cybernetic for 200 years.
Oh no, I was just I'm using a metaphor like a loop. Right? We've been caught in a loop for the past 200 years, right? Where we've had technology drive human society. Right. And the main thing has been, the use of machines. Right. So it's in the last 200 years. Right. So it's a staunch difference from most of, human civilization, according to, anthropologists, evolutionists. Right. We live 2 million years. Right. As hunter gatherers, and then 200,000 years, with agriculture. Right. So only in the last 200,000 years did we discover agriculture, according to them. So for most of our evolutionary history, we lived in a low-tech state of development. So it doesn't I don't see that our evolution is corresponding to a use of technology at all.
The use of our brains is what it corresponds to over millions of years. It took us a while to actually make the technology that was an extension of that evolution.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I would argue like it would be hard to have a civilization that became more intelligent that wouldn't start using tools and developing more sophisticated tools as they became more intelligent.
Are you stating the obvious?
Like maybe if
Is
they
it?
could turn that intelligence into like a form of genetic, like willful genetic mutation, but that's the only way I could imagine
Such a
that.
strong argument.
Well, I mean, I don't know. TML, do you agree with that?
It is.
I agree with what part of it?
That it would be difficult, and we're kind of leaning into unlikely or impossible, that an intelligent species would not inevitably develop more technology or use of tools, was the example given.
Well, there's a lack of examples of intelligent species. That's one. Second is the Fermi paradox, right? One of the answers is that every sufficiently developed civilization that discovered technology, they reached existential paradox through the use of that technology, and they may have wiped themselves out, right? So they reached the existential crisis that we've reached, right, with technology, right? Wondering if we'll destroy ourselves in the process of creating new machines and things. So one of the answers to the Fermi paradox is that every advanced civilization destroys themselves, right?
I guess like that doesn't bother me though. Like if that could be like a form of cosmic natural selection or something, where again, like even if that's true, that doesn't tell us that it is avoidable to have technology as we get smarter, because we certainly didn't choose to be smarter. That our brains exist as they are from one generation to the next, and there's not really much change within the brain itself.
You're talking for yourself, right?
Yeah, I've heard this argument before, and I think it's dangerous to the extent that it says that we don't control technological advancement. It's just
no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we will inevitably advance technology. How is what we have control over.
But the word inevitable means you don't control that. You see the problem there, right? So you are saying that.
Because again, it would be ludicrous to try to imagine an advanced civilization that doesn't have newer forms of technology. The only way I can imagine that is if we could like will our own genetics and think like, oh, I actually want to have different genetics today, and then just be literally a different organism. But that's the only way I could imagine that.
So let's just cut to the chase. What do you think is the highest goal of this technological advancement? Do you think it's genetic engineering?
No, I don't think there is like an ultimate goal. Again, I think it's a natural progression of intelligence.
So then we can't control it.
Yeah, so it's
we can control what technology we make. We can't control the fact that humans will inevitably innovate.
It's just entertaining and enjoying the side effects.
I don't know. I don't know how that.
Let's pause for a second. I just want to say thank you to 10th Man for joining. Sorry we got into the geek shit.
Yeah.
He has an engagement he has to leave for, so I just wanted to thank him for coming by.
10th Man, you're engaged. Congratulations.
Yeah, blessings.
Oh, he's married.
See you later.
I know. I'm just saying that because it pisses him off that I don't keep track of that, and I sometimes forget.
Anyways, please continue.
I mean, I've heard this rap before, so I think it's misanthropic.
Can you imagine humans like digging out holes with a spoon for the rest of history? Even as we got smarter and could think of new ways to dig things more efficiently, why would we still dig stuff out with a spoon?
I don't think we ever dig things with spoons, but all right.
Hand trowel. It's because we clearly learn how to do things better, right? We learned how to make an excavator.
Why did it take so long? Why did it take upwards of 2 million years?
Wait, weren't you just complaining it happened really quickly though, like within hundreds of years?
I would like to hear your answer to that too,
TML. But you're saying that evolution caused that, and I'm saying that it can't happen either within 200 years.
Hey, you're really conflating two major things. Evolution gave us the brains with the capacity to make technology. Humans had to come together to make the technology itself.
Yeah, so evolution and technology won't run along the same time scale, right? You reach a certain level of evolution, and then the technology would explode exponentially. I think that's where Mel's coming from. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean,
But
it still wouldn't
I
make
would-
sense with the time frames because again, we're going 2 million to 200,000 to then
because it took 2 million to make a brain good enough. Evolution's a slow process. Technology is an uber fast one.
And we're talking about stochastic process here.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
I'm
things
pretty
with
sure
goals.
Neanderthals had bigger brains than us.
It's technology.
So how come they didn't?
So this goes back to what I was saying about Australopithecus. They actually had relatively the same size brain.
It's
but
the
they
wrong-
had
how come they
different
didn't- so how
parts
come
of
they
the
didn't
brain.
survive?
Different
So what-
parts of the brain were emphasized, and they had less neuron density.
Right, it has more to do with ratio than it does overall size, and then also what parts of the brain is are being developed. But what was the question that you asked Mel? Though,
what
because
parts
I'm
of the
interested
brain-
in.
So wait,
Go ahead,
what
go
parts of the brain caused us to develop technology?
The prefrontal
that
cortex.
developed.
Prefrontal cortex.
So we have a larger prefrontal cortex than the Neanderthals.
Yes.
Are you
And
sure
more
about-
neural density in it as well.
And they were bigger than us. So like the ratio is a thing too.
By the way, I haven't actually seen a lot of evidence that supports they had bigger brains. They certainly had bigger parts of their brain, like their motor cortex. It was actually the difference between. Sorry, I don't remember the three branches of proto-humans that kind of branched off. Two of them died. Homo erectus, I think, was one of them, and they certainly had like better hunting skills and stuff like that. But without their developed prefrontal cortex, they really only were able to do things after we came up with them. And because of that, they're always lagging behind, and they just didn't. Their genes didn't live out. Well, I mean, you can still find evidence of them in other populations, but of course, Homo sapiens eventually dominated the world.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks for
crows
stopping
use-
by, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, crows use tools, right?
Right, but okay, but they don't. Crows.
And I mean, monkeys have even made tools, right? So
this is why I got into making more and more sophisticated tools. Like crows will use things that are already available. They won't manufacture tools.
no, they have manufactured them.
They don't manufacture tools. They'll take a stick that's
I have
already on the
evidence
ground.
I have evidence that monkeys and crows have manufactured tools.
They don't. Monkeys do. Crows do not.
I have evidence to the contrary.
Crows will
By the
collect.
way,
Crows will collect items of a specific
didn't
property.
create any tools
They
either.
will mimic
Foxes
human behavior,
never
and crows will use tools that already exist. Like will use a straw.
Do they have bigger brains than other
to
birds?
poke at something?
Do
But
they have better like prefrontal cortex than other birds or stuff?
I don't know. But there is.
Well, you would need to know that. If we like figure that out, then it would support your theory definitely.
I guarantee you, there is no common behavior among crows. I can't speak for every crow that's ever existed, but there is no common behavior among crows where they manufacture their own tools. The reason humans
I don't
started
know
doing
about
that is
that.
because,
Isn't making a nest manufacturing your own tools?
oh my god, no, it's
Uh-oh.
a fixed action pattern. You fuck.
What's that?
Fixed action patterns are behaviors
joking, by the way.
that you can't decide to do or not do. Your heartbeat right now is technically a fixed action pattern. You
So
can't
autonomic
nothing.
functions.
Yeah,
No,
but
no,
then you're still getting autonomic tool making, though.
Right, but it's not a fixed action pattern for us to make tools.
Sure. That suggests a difference, but then it's a difference that has not yet been discussed. Because
I did try to bring. I tried to
a
introduce
nest
it earlier.
I'm also very curious if you can remember what the question was that you originally asked Mel. I've forgotten now, but I was actually interested in TM.
How come crows and monkeys make tools as well?
Yeah, it's about the
Before
tool
that.
making thing.
I think it was before that. It was something about
That's going too far back. I can't remember now.
the timeline of like.
Oh yeah, the evolution, like what? Yeah, exactly. The 2 million years and the 200,000 years, and then
Yeah, can you remember that question?
Last 200 years.
So
well, that
because
is
the way you phrased that question is something that I've wanted to hear you explain for the longest time. I'd like to hear your answer on that.
Well, it's just about these how we spent most of our evolutionary history under low tech, right? And how just a small time of development of technology has led to existential crisis of man. Right.
So is evolution a slow process or is it a fast process?
I'm wondering if I think the suggestion here is that you don't think it's because brains evolved to use tools, right?
Well, that could be the case. That could very well be the case. But the thing is that the timeline doesn't. I don't think it matches up with the evolutionary development. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if you go back 200,000 years, right? Did we make a jump in brain size 200,000 years ago and then 2 million years ago? You would have to correspond both of those times to a technological jump. You know what I'm saying, right? So to speak. So I'm just laying out what the project is, right? If you want to,
you know
prove
what the
your
first
theory.
technology we ever made was, right? Fire. And the ability to cook
according to who?
And not die from food poisoning increased our lifespan and gave us more chances to innovate within a single given life.
We also started eating animals, which made the brain.
My original question is that evolution is a slow process versus innovation is a very, 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 very fast process by comparison. I can innovate an entire thing within my lifetime, but I cannot evolve within my lifetime. That's why
I'm wondering
time scale.
Right, and that's kind of like the point I'm making is that technology doesn't match up with evolution, like you just kind of said
because you're conflating the capacity of the brain with technology itself. Evolution.
But you're saying that the capacity of brain size matches up with technological
not
development.
Brain size,
it doesn't match up with evolution.
Capacity of the brain to produce.
So why did he cut me off?
Not brain size. That's your error that you keep making, not mine.
I think you just got proven wrong because you just said you said technological development does not match evolutionary development. That's the simple point that I was trying to make.
You wouldn't expect it to because evolution
it's derivative from not
technology that is evolving. It's not technology
that is
evolving. It is not technology
so we agree then.
That is evolving. It is the human brain that is evolving.
Sure. I'm just saying
they're not going to happen along the same timeline no matter what.
Of course. Yep.
And so why you have that expectation, I don't know.
I didn't have the expectation. I said in the beginning that that's not the case.
Don't line up. Then it's not an issue that they don't line up.
Well, the question was posed if evolution is responsible for our advancement in technology.
That's right. And if they don't line up, there's less of a chance. I mean, it's a slam dunk.
Why is it that they don't line up 1-to-1? I think Mel explained what I think and did a good job at, explaining exactly why that is. But I'm still curious if we reject that, why you think it is. I'm curious about the alternative explanation. I've never heard one.
Please, can I make a statement, a neutral statement?
Please.
Before there was technologica, right? Technology, there was logic, right? So before technology, there is logic, per definition.
Maybe no. I know we came up with fire before logic, so no.
Yeah, I mean, I read this on my show. It's like if you took a guy who lived like in a forest, right, and took him, until he turned 50, and you told him in the last part of his life to adjust to life in the city, right? That's basically what humanity is going through, right? The technological
Right.
acceleration does not match the evolutionary development, right? So that's
right.
therefore it's dangerous, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
wait.
I agree with that.
But okay,
Right, so
I agree with everything
that's
up
a simple
to
point I was trying to make.
therefore it is dangerous. It's dangerous on a human scale, but humans have also developed techniques to make things safe. So that's why it's a double-edged sword. Because
I would think that that's dubious, right? Because
okay, are
because,
swords dangerous? Are swords
what about
dangerous?
nuclear? What about
Wait,
nuclear
can you
bombs?
just answer my question? Because I'm going somewhere with this.
Swords
are dangerous, right? Just say yes. It's obvious yes. You don't need to think about it. Swords are
protect
dangerous.
people. Swords protect people.
Oh my God, swords are dangerous. Yet we found a way to carry them
Swords
on
are
our
dangerous.
hips. Yet we
Why
found a
are they
way
dangerous?
Yet we found a way to carry them on our hips by putting them in something that makes them safe. You can also develop technologies that make things safer, not just more dangerous.
Right. And what's the purpose of the nuclear weapons?
Well, the purpose of nuclear technology is both energy and defense. The purpose of nuclear weapons for defense is mutually assured destruction.
Right. So what's the benefit of what's the practical benefit of mutually assured destruction?
No, the practical benefit of nuclear technology is energy.
Right. But what's the practical benefit of mutually assured destruction?
You're just pointing to the other side of the sword now.
Right. There's two sides of the fucking sword. You said it yourself. So yeah. So the other side is much more compelling.
So you're just acknowledging my point that it's really hard to find technology.
No, I'm saying that destruction of humanity on one side of the scale and then energy on the other side of the scale. Oh, we should probably worry more about destruction of humanity. Like no shit, Sherlock.
Shout out to Voy. Thanks for participating. Please come back and
But you know what's funny is like we're less likely to die from
when there's a little less back and forth. Go ahead, Mel.
We're less likely to die. Oh yeah, by the way, bye Seth. We're less likely to die from nuclear fallout than we are from like climate change because we burn too many fossil fuels. So if anything, we did need solutions to the energy crisis that fossil fuels created.
But that's technology.
Yeah, I know. Like
we need more tech to save us from the tech we need.
Right? Like due to the fact that technology has created the existential crisis that you're referring to, it's.
Yep, humans created our own issues because we found ways to avoid nature.
Yes, yes, I agree with that one. Yeah, totally.
I think so. We could solve a lot of those problems by turning toward nature.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we agree on that one. Yeah, we
create ancient problems again, though, right? Like problems of like it makes more sense to worship the sky daddy than it does to actually understand the weather on a.
Would you separate knowledge and technology, TML? Like in other words, would you acknowledge that we need to know how nature works in order to avoid
but then you need
creating
technology to study it.
Right. I don't, because I don't believe in like one governing ism or thought, like I'm okay with that. I feel like we needed the technology to get to this point where we could recognize how much technology is hurting us, and that now we can find a balance, and in my opinion, that's going to mean a lot more nature and a lot less technological advancement.
Yeah, I agree.
If you really want to bring humans back to nature, you got to get us to challenge consumerism. But a lot of other people talk.
Yeah, I think the future is primitive. This system is not sustainable. It'll eventually collapse, and we'll move on to the next thing.
Too.
We'll have no chance but to live in harmony with nature.
It won't. Yeah, it won't be up to us. We're gonna keep
eventually
until.
Yeah, eventually it won't be up to us. The pollution and the ecological crisis will get too severe, and then humanity will have to adjust. And it'll just be, the future will be a primitive future. I mean, that is what I predict. I think. I don't
nature
think
needs no help either way. It does not negotiate. It's going to do what it does, if that makes sense. No matter how much tech we have, it's going to finish its cycle, whatever that cycle may be. Whether it destroys us or whatever it may do.
What is it in this context?
It's a Pandora's box. that we can't close anymore.
Yeah, that was a good analogy that the Greeks had. Actually, Pandora was a robot, right? So it was an ancient sort of machine, right? And I believe it was I think it could have been created by Hephaestus, but there was also a god of technology that created Talos, right? Giant robot, right? Type of thing. So
but
they
we are
talk
going
about
back.
robots in ancient mythology. Yeah.
We are going back to nature, just not in the ways you might think, right? Like in terms of like we used to make materials that are totally unsustainable, circuit boards, for example, but now we're finding ways to make them out of mushroom mycelium, and I'm actually
Right, but that could be,
familiarized.
but that could be very dangerous because that spore could spread and self-replicate, and if it has a mind of its own, that's
okay,
not.
You're going off on a tangent that doesn't apply to this because first of all, if it's for
No, I'm not.
PCBs, it would be neutralized; it'd be dead, so the spores wouldn't be able to do anything. And secondly, these are spores that already exist in nature, so we were just as likely to deal with that now as we would be after making this.
I need to use the latrine, so
I disagree with that one.
I'm gonna leave it to you guys to keep the conversation going, which that should be the easy part.
Yeah, I think self-replicating nanos is a real danger, and combined with technology,
keep it
really dangerous.
Keep it respectful, please.
Nanostructures.
Everyone on this panel is a very interesting, insightful, and intelligent person. So let's.
I'm just keep that.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back, y'all.
Yeah, I'll be nice.
Yep. Yeah. So you said self-replicating nano what?
Self-replicating nanomachines.
That's not what mushroom mycelium is.
I'm saying combined with the computer technology, right? Combined with like AI system, and it gets out of hand. It is.
Okay. What does it have to do with PCBs being made out of mushroom mycelium?
I don't know. I thought you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about us making materials that were before unsustainable with now sustainable things that can biodegrade, go back.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with making stuff out of mycelium. 100%.
That's all I was pointing out. Is that's a way that we're going back to nature.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that anything
have you heard about the slime mold
will ever be perfect. If anything, humans are great at creating problems for ourselves. I agree with that.
Yeah.
However,
have you heard about the slime mold that they said can find its way through a subway system and they were going to chip the slime mold?
that's a bit of online hype. Actually, that's not a big deal that it can do that. There's plenty of things that can do that.
Right, but they're talking about
you lost me. What was it doing?
No, slime mold can solve the traveling salesman problem by taking the shortest path through a maze to something. But it doesn't do that because it knows intelligently where it is. It takes all possible paths, and then the path that actually gets there the shortest is the one that's kept alive because that's the one that has the most fluid transfer between points. I know very well how it works, by the way.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, I was just trying to go on a tangent.
It's more like simulated intelligence than real intelligence.
Right. So that's what I was trying to think of, that they were thinking of combining nanomachines with that. And I think that could go haywire.
No, they're not going to do that. If anything, they'll use mycelium. The problem is we don't know how to make mycelium grow where we want it to, although I may have personally came up with a solution for at least making nanostructures with them, with it, but I'm not going to talk about that because I haven't even released a patent on that.
How could that help?
For example, microfluidics are something that could really help us in the medical field with rapidly diagnosing stuff in the field, whereas otherwise you have to send stuff to a lab and it's all this whole week-long thing of getting all these assay tests done. You could just put this on a chip, put it into a device, kind of like how blood testers for diabetes work, and get back a whole series of results that would.
How long do you think that's going to be? It's not going to be long until you don't.
Yeah, we're already doing microfluidics. Yeah, we already use microfluidics in biotechnology.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'll say you could go to the Walmart and get diagnosed soon.
Mm-hmm.
Soon.
Like attaching so one thing we've been doing for a long time is attaching proteins, or maybe not proteins, but peptides to what's it called? A ligand that is in on a strip, right? And then you dump that strip in a sample, and it comes out and changes color. How many times
what is
have you
the
seen
ligand?
stuff like that? Pregnancy tests, right? Ligand is
melanin.
ligand's
Yeah.
a metal or it's a bond between a metal compound, and I'm kind of oversimplifying just for reasons, and an organic compound. So it's a way to connect inorganic and organic things.
That's an interesting concept for sure. I'm gonna look into that ligand.
I'm probably not saying it in the most accurate way. It's more like
organoid intelligence.
Pardon?
Organoid intelligence.
That's not really a thing.
Organoid?
It is a thing. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, they have a thing. Organoid intelligence.
You're confusing. So the whole thing with like getting memories from somebody if you get an organ transplant. First of all, that's been debunked.
No. This is about them growing brain cells on computer chips. Then
they are doing that now.
Yeah, for like by the way, very rudimentary neural network computation, which isn't even working as nearly as well as like when you actually just emulate it on a machine.
Yeah, I have a friend on my show who studied computer science, right? And he thinks these things are really dangerous. I mean, right?
Oh well, I wonder if he's ever taken an actual class in neural computation.
Yeah,
because
he has a couple of degrees in the subject. Yeah.
So the equivalent circuit model of a neuron shows right away that you can't actually compare neural networks as we have them now to the way that the brain actually works. There are some structural similarities in terms of like organization, but the core model of how we model the neuron in a neural network is not the same at all in any way as how an actual neuron works.
Shout out to Avian Buddha, by the way.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. Yeah, I'd like to hear a conversation between Mel and
that'd be fucking dope.
Yeah,
Could quantum entanglement come into the play with the brain? Really?
No. Why not? Because they're all Newtonian processes that give us inputs and outputs.
The brain.
Yeah, Newtonian meaning like physics that happen on the scale that's larger than the atomic. So, and quantum has to be smaller than the atomic.
So you're saying it's impossible, in your opinion?
Well, I think there's more interesting stuff than that going on, particularly with like subtractive synthesis and noise, and us getting kind of like where we get creativity from. I think it comes from like a noise gradient across neurons in the brain, and the fact that the neurons themselves can subtractively synthesize it through the ways that they filter out noise.
You don't think nature is intelligent?
As a whole, you could say that there is a form of intelligence, just not like a centralized intelligence like we see in the brain.
Well, what about the mycorrhizal relationship between the mushrooms and the trees, right? Don't you think that created like a lot of right, like it created the oxygen so the animals can exist, right?
It's symbiotic and it's clever,
right.
But I would say that didn't happen from like pre-thought, right? It happened as a series of consequences.
So where do you think intelligence? So what combination of dead matter gives rise to intelligence?
Well, there is no predefined combination. It's all stochastic again, right? So when you have living systems, usually they represent a nonlinear system, a system that's not going to act the way you want it to. Also, it's a system that's in non-equilibrium, right? And so the first form of intelligence ever to exist in evolution was actually the ability to be like, oh, I'm cold, I'm going to go somewhere that's warm. Where's the warm spot? I'm going to find it now, right? And that's the most primitive thing. Like, I'm cold, I'm going to start moving in hopes that I wind up somewhere that's warm. And there's no thought required for that. I couldn't even tell you where we started getting thoughts. That's the part that's like a mystery to me, an anthropologist, and I'm pretty sure anybody who's being honest.
Yeah.
Because these internal thoughts we have, the ability to think is very profound, and there is no there is no way.
Real quick, go ahead, Mel. Finish off your sentence.
No. I was rambling. Go ahead.
I just wanted to welcome Joe Cool to the panel.
Oh, thanks. I was totally ignoring you guys and getting high, but I'll pay more attention.
If you're like, I'm high too, and if this isn't a stoner discussion, I don't know what is.
Yeah, Mel. After you burnt yours, you kind of picked up in your speed. You got fluent and you started doing your thing.
So let us say, government by the retarded.
It's TML in 50 years.
For the retarded. of the retarded.
If you want voters to not be R-slurred, then get us to stop being consumers.
Yeah. I question whether or not there won't always be a majority of, sheeple, but they'll go along with whatever the program is. So there's no reason why we can't make a better program for everyone.
That's what
and I
Plato
think there'll
said.
always be, what do you call it, sheeple?
Yeah,
So
he said,
are we
There'll always be that 80% or
Yeah, he said the
somewhere
masses
surrounding it.
will never philosophize. Right.
Right.
Well, does that give evidence of some type of predisposition or pre-programming built in? I know what some of y'all know where I'm gonna go after that shit with the.
I mean, I'm sure saying that like it'll always be 80% does, but I don't agree that it will always be 80%. I think when you keep repackaging people identities and selling it back to them and creating like a whole culture where identity itself is a commodity, then of course you're going to have people who act like sheep. But when you have a culture where someone's identity is, I'm on the right side of history, I'm an empiricist and objectivist, and we're making the world a better place than what we found it, then it's really hard to have people who are just simply sheep. Like they're going to be motivated to think critically.
So that's where you lost me at that last word. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say there's probably haven't been anything in the past that we could use, for example, of this people who were generally critical thinkers, the masses being general critical thinkers. Mel, do you think there is still a path to get there, though, even though it doesn't look like we've achieved it before in our couple 100,000-year history or longer?
Oh yeah. Definitely. Like, I don't agree with everything our founding fathers did, but if there's one thing that they had, it was an identity that relied on the fact that was possible. And to have an identity like that is enough to motivate us to go in that direction. I couldn't tell you if it's going to be 99% or 90% or 99.9% who can think critically. I just want to see more critical thinking in the human species, as opposed to the forces
we're
that
making
encourage
so
us
many
to do less.
technological breakthroughs, Furby, that's just not going to happen, in my opinion.
Damn,
Well,
you said technology prevents it.
You don't even have to think
depends.
about anything, really. You look at your phone, get all your answers.
TML likes that.
That depends on how mutually exclusive those things are, and I'd argue that they're not necessarily. They can be. So again, consumerism encourages us to watch TV, so that way we'll also be capacitated when the ads come on. Same with the internet, right? They just want you to see ads. If we didn't have a culture of media or surrounded by that, rather a culture of media that encouraged critical thinking by default, I think we'd get much different results.
I agree,
We'll go
but
backwards and technology and what we do. I don't think so.
Like it is true that like when you watch TV, you're put into like the alpha wavelength or whatever, right? And that can make it more difficult to do that. But it's actually, if you're watching something that makes you think critically, that pulls you out of the alpha wavelength, right? So it's heavily dependent on your media diet.
And we could fix that diet. We could trick people kind of sort of into eating good foods.
Mm-hmm.
And then rather than program them to be zombies, we program them to be critical thinkers.
Well, that's why we talk about like the Greeks living longer because they eat better, right? Or something like that, or like the oils in like their diet. It's their culture. Their culture is different, so they eat differently.
They also like travel for their food. It turns out like the muscles in your calves are specifically designed to prompt you for glucose.
Check that
so,
out. So
like
you don't use them.
Yeah, if you walk to get to what you're going to eat, it's like not even the same thing as sitting there.
As sitting there when they coming to you in a restaurant or something, or in your house.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
You said glucose though, Denison. Are you sure it's not glycogen?
Well, I think that like glycogen is what would happen after you process the glucose, right? So it would affect your glycogen stores because you'll burn more glucose in your bloodstream.
Okay, I thought I could trip you up on some of your ignorance, but you knew a bit more than I expected you to. So GG.
It's a parlor trick. I just when I don't know the answer, I listen.
It's a parlor trick.
Is that a trick or just being smart
Or
being wise?
Critical thinking. He's eating the right foods.
Yeah. So again, I don't consider myself successful by any measure, other than whatever way I did things. It was always my own way. But that clearly was not a very effective or efficient route.
Yeah, it probably sucked. But by the way, I think the one thing we could do differently within like the system as a whole, and this is very ecological if you do know ecology, is to have systems that don't rely on competition as much, and
Right.
actually assume that humans are more cooperative than competitive by default.
Yeah.
'Cause that's one of the things that I think intelligence gives us the capacity to do, is cooperate more than ever, rather than just seeing everything as competition.
In real life, that's what I end up doing with my friends. Whenever we're doing some cooperation, whether a fence needs to go up, a chicken coop needs to be built, it's never been competition.
It works on every single level except the government one, apparently, is what we're supposed to believe.
Right. Yes.
Economically, right? So it works in your family. It works even at your job. If you take the wages and put them in another mental category, just think about how people actually work together inside of a building, right? It works for the strangers you meet at the supermarket, for Christ's sake. We volunteer to keep ourselves orderly and out of each other's way. It's good, man.
And here's how you know it's a scam. The politicians don't even believe that, right? If anything, they believe they should be crossing aisles and cooperating with the side that they're technically opposed to.
Right.
So, if anything, we're the ones who are being fooled into believing like, oh, I need to be that different than somebody who disagrees with me. There are certain ways, just to be clear, right? Like my family who won't accept trans stuff at all, literally, they're impossible to talk to. They just are. They alienate themselves from me. But not every single political thing has to be like that either.
It was just interested me that you said your family isolates you, and then you followed up with a political thing, which made me think that.
Well, I'm saying that like there are some things that might mean a lot in that sense, but there are also just some things that are trivial, right? Like if you're like, my grandpa doesn't support what do you call it in America, minimum basic wage or whatever, right? But I can still talk to him like he's my grandpa, despite that. Like that's not a deal breaker. But he won't talk to me like I'm a human being anymore, and that's the issue.
Why not?
Because I'm trans.
Okay, I was going to tell you that, but you know,
it's probably one of those things where he's been taught, if you don't do what I say, withdraw my love, and that's how you get a person to correct their behavior. And some people get stuck in it, especially fucking dads.
Right, but if I dehumanized him, the whole family would lose their fucking minds, just to be clear.
Yes, undoubtedly.
So
it's crazy that